What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 47 of Tardy to the Party, aka T3P, the weekly podcast centered around news and reviews of that holy trinity of pop culture, Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. I'm your boy J Sib, and to my left,
KP here.
Okay.
Wherever.
You fucking did it again, bud. You fucked everything up. So yes, of course, it is just the dynamic duo again this week. But that is because Bull is out of town for work. So yeah, of course, they're doing the old Skype-a-roon again, quicker than we thought. Hey there, KP.
Yeah. I mean, can winter get here, I guess, just so the three of us can stop doing whatever the hell we're trying to do?
Summer has been rough for recording. We've all been busy bees. Of course, we had, you had your convention recently. I was up in Huntley like 2 weeks ago, and then it was up in Huntley again this weekend for Pokemon Go Fest. So, caught 11 shinies. No big deal, dude. No big deal.
Pokemon Go Fest.
Whatever, dude. So obviously we, as you know, the strikes are still going on. Sadly, it's going to be a real quick work of news this week. But I do kind of somewhat a little bit tease for DC, piggybacking off the ending of Blue Beetle. Of course, the mid-credit scenes. Of course, this would be spoilers, I guess, if you haven't seen it, which is probably most of you.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess spoiler alert.
30 million so far, I think is what I last saw.
Probably domestically. I think it's actually I can look it up. It's I already have the screen pulled up. It has made 46.3 mil domestically and 35.8 internationally. So it's currently sitting at 82.1 million worldwide, with I think it was 120. I think was the number, $120 million budget. Of course, that's not counting marketing, but obviously they went pretty lax on the marketing with this movie compared to their usual, especially how hard they went on the Flash, and even Aquaman 2. We haven't seen anything yet, which isn't necessarily out of the norm from them since it comes out in December. Usually I feel like WB doesn't really ramp up their marketing or really drop trailers until a month and a half, a month out. They're usually pretty last minute, I feel like, with that kind of stuff, but I don't know. But piggybacking off the, of course, mid-credit scenes where Ted Kord reaches out through the computer to tell Jenna, right?
Jenna, yeah.
Jenna, that her father is still alive. So that obviously is teasing that Ted Kord is still out there somewhere. And then directly from the director of Blue Beetle, Manuel Soto. This is in the middle of the conversation, so I'm not starting from the very beginning, but starting from the quote. Ted Kord is still alive. He's somewhere out there in the universe, and whatever the future holds for our hero is open to interpretation. So whether that is Booster Gold or Ted Kord, or if it is both of them together, the possibility exists, and it is something that we want to entertain. We wanted to not just answer the question, but also let the world know that Jaime Reyes' story is just starting. By doing so, that opens the possibilities of not just new adventures with the Reyes family, but also joining in with a different superhero, if that's what DC Studio CEO James Gunn and Peter Safran want for them. So this is actually piggybacking off something that I was hoping we would get to talk about this week, because it was kind of a theory of mine, because Blue Beetle feels so standalone, which is kind of what I think helps it in a way. But what kind of helps with that end credit teaser is it kind of, in a way, sets up for Jaime to kind of potentially go into James Gunn's DCU and Peter Safran's DCU, because maybe that's where Ted Kord is stuck. Maybe he's stuck in that universe, or just somewhere in the future or past, whatever. But I think it'd be kind of cool. And kind of a loose theory, obviously it's super fucking early, so God knows. But it'd be kind of cool if maybe Jaime gets introduced in the Booster Gold series, because maybe that's where Ted Kord is with maybe Booster Gold and this universe within the James Gunn's DCU, and maybe that's how Jaime eventually gets brought into this, along with hopefully the family and Jenna and everything like that. And it almost seems like the director here kind of potentially hinted at that. So yeah. I mean, what do you think of that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm all for it. I want this character to kind of be in the new DCU, so I guess my thoughts is more that I'm hopeful that that's actually like the traction that it's going. I could see it where, so you brought up how he might be like trapped like at a different point in time.
Potentially. The only reason I say that is because Booster Gold is from the future.
Right.
And he comes back to our time and to with the future tech to be a hero. So it would.
So could
more on par with canon would make sense, but it could be a way for them to get around and get them into the DCU.
So you're saying that Ted could be like in the future with Booster Gold?
That is like I think that's definitely a possibility. I feel like this either could be if Blue Beetle 2, which this could not be Booster Gold series. It could obviously just wait until Blue Beetle 2. But obviously that credit scene kind of sets up Blue Beetle 2 being like Jaime and the family, at least Jaime and Jenna, potentially going to find Ted Kord, wherever he may be, whether that's in the future, the past, a whole different universe. I just think a way that would be cool to connect that is, since Ted Kord, Blue Beetle, and Booster Gold are so close and best friends, that's a Blue Beetle I'm more familiar with. And obviously, I've said on this podcast several times, I fucking adore Booster Gold. So, like, I think it would be really awesome if maybe Ted Kord and hopefully Jaime would be then introduced into the new DCU via something like that. But obviously, who fucking knows at this point?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, like I think you said it, the movie does kind of feel like it might have to end up standing on its own, especially now because it's not making any money. No one's going to see it, even though it's a really good movie. So that makes me worried. Huh?
Agreed.
Oh, okay. That makes me worried that they will just kind of drop this property, but I hope not. I think it would be good if they did do like a Booster Gold and Ted Kord series or movie, whatever they're doing with those two characters. If then maybe you go from that approach and like, you know, just somehow make it work with like time travel, or I don't know about multiverse effect, but maybe you could argue that because they're screwing with time, it creates separate universes like Flash, you know?
Yeah.
So it creates like second universes that provides just insert reason that this version of Jaime Reyes and Jenna and then Jaime's family gets pulled into the DCU universe with Chris Pratt and Jason Sudeikis. That'd be pretty cool. So
I really hope it's Jason Sudeikis. I really hope that's the painting looked like it, but
he and Chris Pratt, like, since you said, like, since the Ted Kord Blue Beetle and Booster Gold are like tight buddies in the comics, if Chris Pratt's really going to go over to Warner Brothers to be in James Gunn's DCU because they love to work together, I would really see him. I would really more love to see him as Booster Gold then, and not an Aquaman. And
I agree.
And then the big theory is that was Jason Sudeikis as the man that's doing the speaking, and people are wanting him cast as Ted Kord. I think that would work with those two. It'd probably make for a good, funny time of a movie. Especially because, like, my experience with Booster Gold is that he's kind of like he's so he's so concerned with being a hero that he's just a goofball and a joke. So
Yeah, he's
the movie would almost need to kind of be like a comedy anyway. And I think those
Mhm.
two actors would, I mean, be able to pull this off. Especially like I've been, finally watching Ted Lasso, and it's funny, but Sudeikis' character, who he plays Ted Lasso, at times has like kind of a more serious approach to it, so he can do it, and that could probably work for this other character. So it'd be cool to see. So I guess overall, what I think of it is that I love the rumor, and I think that I would like to see that come to fruition or something to that nature, because I mean, you know how I reacted to the movie of Blue Beetle, so I would like, excuse me, I would like to see more of the Jaime Reyes character going forward, especially with the the ever growing dynamic of like how the scarab is in his head and speaking to him, and it's kind of like what Sony, like, even though the movies are bad, but um it's kind of like Sony and Venom, you know. He's like got this alien that's in his brain, and he's trying to show the alien humanity, while the alien is like, well, sometimes that doesn't always work. Granted, at the end of Blue Beetle, I think you and I both agreed it went away that typically it doesn't go in the comics, but that's okay. We know what the movie was accomplishing there, but I think just to see that still continue to kind of develop in a sequel would be kind of cool. Because I will say, I think I saw where some people's gripe with this Beetle movie that saw it was that there wasn't enough Blue Beetle, there wasn't enough action. The movie was too family oriented. It was too focused on trying to be lighthearted and funny to appease to massive audiences. And to my rebuttal to that is like, well, if you went and saw this, you're probably like us, where you're just a big fan of comics. So yeah, of course you're going to want to see constant action. You don't really care too much about family dynamic in the movie. You just want to see a fucking better Iron Man kick some ass. So I don't know. Where I was really going with that, I don't know, but ultimately it leads down to the fact that I just hope the character can stick around.
I agree. I really liked Sholo Menduela. I really liked him as Jaime. I obviously love him as Miguel and Cobra Kai. Huge fan. Um,
Did not know
just good.
that's where he's also in that. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Have you not watched that, KP? Because if you haven't, you should get on that shit. That show's awesome.
Is that on Amazon or Netflix? Which one is that on?
Netflix.
Hmm.
I think there's 5 seasons. I could be right. There's something like 5 seasons. But yeah, I'm sad this movie's not. We all knew it wasn't going to do that well, but hopefully, James Gunn seems pretty adamant that this character is going to come over, whether everything from this movie will necessarily come over or not. It at least seems that like Sholo will be able to continue playing Jaime. So, you know, honestly, even with Superman Legacy, I don't even know if they really think that's really going to be super profitable either. Honestly, I would think it would be, considering it's a Superman movie, but with the way the general audience's faith has been in DC movies, I feel like they're more just trying to make sure and they kind of said this earlier when Discovery kind of, got the WB, was that they really needed to kind of like repair the image of DC. They're not necessarily focused on, I mean, obviously they want to make money, but it's not necessarily the major goal for them. I guess the number one goal for them is just to repair general audience's view of DC movies. So I feel like I think their plan right now is just to hopefully keep releasing good, critically liked, and also audience liked movies, and hopefully with word of mouth over time, that'll, hopefully 2-3 good movies down the road will start, that snowball effect where then more money will start coming into there. So hopefully this Jaime Reyes sticks around. I really loved it. So
I mean, Superman Legacy is also like 2 years away.
which is I think to its
So
benefit, definitely.
yeah, they got time to repair their image, I think. Possibly. That's the thing, is like, since the old universe is axed and they're going through this reboot, I think we already brought it up once that next year they're not going to have much of shit for properties that come out, except for what, Joker 2?
Yeah, Joker 2 should come out, and then maybe Creature Commandos maybe comes out late 2024.
Which
'Cause
that,
that's
I mean, let's really concern. I mean, okay, but that's going to be what, a cartoon on Max, right?
yeah.
Okay, well, number one, that's a cartoon, and unfortunately, the mass audiences, they're all families. They're probably not going to be watching a cartoon. College kids, high schoolers, and college kids, sure, they'll probably watch a cartoon, but as far as like getting everyone out there, kind of like you like Sony does with Disney does with Marvel. Yeah, to repair the image, to hopefully you can get back to that point where you're kind of bringing in and you're effectively making a blockbuster that's selling out theaters. Well, I mean, as we've even discussed already, the number one, well, I guess you can't say good luck, because Oppenheimer and Barbie did, they outperformed the Mission Impossible that everyone thought was going to make all the money, and then it turns out, and then they thought, oh yeah, Oppenheimer and Barbie will get like some people out, and then it ends up being no, they made everyone's money. Like, all the bros and all the nerds and all that shit had to go see Oppenheimer because it's Nolan, and then all the
the goat.
Yeah, the goat. And then all the ladies went and saw Barbie, and even probably dragged their husbands and boyfriends to it. So you're selling theaters out with those two movies, which, hey, great for theaters. They needed a win, and they finally took 3 years. 3 years. Took 3 years, and they finally got a big ass win. So, besides those points, I'd say with DC, the other thing I wanted to say is they need to do like what you said that Disney did with Marvel in the very, very beginning. And if they do know that Superman Legacy won't be this huge hit, or they don't expect it to be, well, don't give up on your current like vision. Don't try to don't treat it like your DCEU with the Snyderverse and play drastic catch up, and then you end up making something that goes over 45% of audiences' heads, and then the critics shit on it.
Yeah.
And obviously what I'm taking a shot at there. But that's the thing, is that as long as they don't stop, because and I've agreed with you too, that when you look at the first 5-6 of the MCU, you got two movies that are great. And like you've said, the team up is one of the ones I consider in there. And even that one, it's like, yeah, it might not age the best, but still, the others weren't that good. And I will say that I don't think they even made much money. I might be very wrong on that, but also it's kind of skewed because of the fact that, well, back then you had to go to the theater. But I want to say, I know a lot of people that they didn't give a shit about watching Captain America or Thor or Incredible Hulk until like Avengers was coming out. And then you had all these people that were like, oh, I gotta go watch all these movies. I gotta go watch them and get ready for this. This looks fucking amazing. And it's like, well, yeah, it is fucking amazing. But then you got all these movies, and I will say that if they stay the course, I could see that same thing happen with the DCU. Like Superman, like you said, it's Superman. like Batman, everyone usually will go see it. I mean, he's the original superhero, for Christ's sakes. So hopefully everyone goes and sees it. But then after that, you might not have much of an interest in the next ones that come out. But if they can get that team up movie, that first, like, you want to call it a Justice League movie, if you get that first Justice League movie made, well, same thing might happen. You might have people go back and be like, oh shit, I got to go watch all these other movies they made to know what's going on here because this looks fucking cool, you know?
Mm-hmm. I
Just
agree.
make you hope that. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I hope they fucking stick the course.
Yeah.
No matter what. I swear to God, if we do this back and forth bullshit that we've gone through the past 10 years, and I really hope, like, I really hope they don't just try to copy Marvel, because I don't think that's going to work. And I think I think honestly we're at the point now, which is so sad, that the DC EU is over. That if they would have just stuck the course with Zack, they would have been better off because of how different it was from Marvel. Because
Yeah.
there's not enough room for the two of the exact same extended universes. You need them to be different from each other and contrast each other, because that's what's going to keep them both interesting.
Right. And like you've said, what sucks is that I think people are realizing that now when they're retroactively going back and watching those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're burnt out from the happy-go-lucky, bright and shiny Marvel, and no one dies and everything's, just always going to be okay. And then I think that they are burnt out on that. And then they go back and, I think people are going to be like, sorry for that ding if you heard that notification. The thing that sucks is being on my MacBook. I don't even know how to mute them on my MacBook. But anyways, where I was going with that is that I think, you hear about people that I think they go back and watch like Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, and they're kind of like all in agreement that, oh, you know what? Maybe these weren't actually so bad after all. And it's like, well, no, they weren't. They're just different, but you didn't like that because you were kind of sheepishly only wanting the one formula and the one look.
It's like the Thanos meme or GIF, like, maybe I treated you too harshly or something like that.
And I think I've seen that meme made for the Snyderverse. Like, yeah, perhaps I treated you too harshly. And I think people kind of really realized that too when his Justice League cut came out. And people who sat down and watched it were like, oh, shit, this is like, I know some people, and I myself even say that that's maybe one of the best superhero movies ever made. It's definitely one that I enjoyed a lot, or enjoy watching, every now and then. Marvel's great, but it's also 30 movies. I mean, shit, I own a bunch of them, but I mean, I don't go back and watch all that stuff. I mean,
it's a little more daunting than a Star Wars marathon,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a little more daunting to go back and watch all the MCU instead of going back and watching like powering through Star Wars or like Lord of the Rings extended cut.
Or even yeah. There's never a problem with that, dude.
Yeah.
That's just 9 hours of pure fucking joy.
13, but yeah.
Oh God, are they really? How much are the extendeds?
The extendeds, I think they're an average of like 4.5 hours because, like, fellas,
they're that fucking long. I don't remember them being that long. They don't feel that long.
No, they don't, because they're amazing. But I want to say,
at first when you said 13, I thought you were gonna throw in the Hobbit movies, and I was like, nobody fucking counts those, dude. Those are trash.
yeah, they sadly are, especially the God, the first one. I was a little over. 11 and a half hours for the extended cuts, which makes sense because like the Return of the King extended cut, I think that movie's like 5 hours. I mean, that one's really, really long.
I don't remember it being that long.
Oh yeah, it's very, very long. I want to say like Fellowship's like 4 hours, then Two Towers I think is like around 4.5, and then yeah, Return is like very long. And I'll be honest, I kind of have to watch them extended, man, because I remember when those movies first came out, and I was a kid and I was young. Just to say this real quick, not to go into this tangent, but I remember before I ever watched the extended cuts, I remember enjoying Two Towers the most. But then
Yeah,
when they had the
I would agree.
extended cuts, and you've got a 5 hour Return of the King, that's when Return of the King, I was like, okay, that is the best one. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot they cut out of Return of the King. It's like, you maybe shouldn't have cut all this out, but
I'm still. It's tough. I think Return of the King and Two Towers are kind of tied for me. I just love the Battle of Helm's Deep so much. That's my favorite battle out of all Lord of the Rings.
mm-hmm.
So it's just really, I don't know. I just have such a soft spot
Yeah.
for Two Towers. But the one thing I will say to me, why the extended versions are just needed is for Fellowship. I really didn't like Fellowship, like the theatrical version. Like I liked it, but it wasn't. It was never on the level of Two Towers or Return of the King. But the extended version of that for me, just like it took it from being like a 6.5, 7 to like 8.5, like 8.5. I was like, okay, this movie is, you have to watch if you had to choose just one movie that you had to watch in extended, I'd almost force you to watch that one extended. Just be like, this is what makes this movie actually great.
I agree. My big thing on really the extended cuts as a whole is just because they actually the extended footage does a great job of actually further telling you the story of who Aragorn is and why he's so important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in the theatricals that got lost because they chopped a lot of it out because I think they wanted to go for like, well, Frodo's the star.
Right. I agree. I think definitely, yeah, I would say Strider / Aragorn's definitely the big winner as far as a character, but even just as the whole world and the story in general, like I realize, those long of movies can be daunting, but it really does. I feel like it just makes the movies flow better and just help, obviously, flesh the whole world out as a whole.
Yeah.
Just raises the quality overall. But what's the Marvel news this week?
Well, I told you it's going to be like super lightning quick. The only news I got is thanks to said Warner Brothers, and they have moved Dune 2's release to, I believe, next year. Now, The Marvels gets its IMAX.
Oh, word.
I get to see the number one girl. That one right there. Not with the Chinese dragon, but that one. Right there. I get it in IMAX with her two partners, Photon and Ms. Marvel.
I still feel like I'm in the minority, as I'm sure you feel you're in the minority as well. I'm still really, as much as I didn't really care for Captain Marvel, the first one, I'm still very much looking forward to this movie. This movie just looks like it's a lot of fun. I don't know, just like the first trailer. Actually, there's been 2 trailers now, haven't there?
They've done 2 trailers.
Both of them just seem like it's going to be a good time. Like I've said before, I don't think this is going to be, you know, Citizen Kane or, you know, whatever. It's not going to be end game level of hype or whatever, but it's, I feel like this is just going to be a good, solid time at the movies. Just,
yeah.
I'm going to be, if I don't at least give this a 7, I'm going to be disappointed.
I'm still in firm belief that I think the Ms. Marvel character is going to end up stealing the show. I just feel like that's what's going to be happening. Yeah, the first Captain Marvel, obviously weird release time. Honestly, the whole way the MCU has kind of even handled her character, they have very much botched it.
Yep, I agree.
You know, she originally was planned to be a cameo at the very end of Age of Ultron when they're introducing the new Avengers lineup. You know, the very end, they're in the facility.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the very end when they're in the facility and Cap is walking with Widow after Thor and Iron Man effectively like kind of retire, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't. Well, Thor doesn't retire, but when Thor's like, "Hey, this is the, you know, this is the third Infinity Stone or the second Infinity Stone that we've that's popped up," you know, well, for Thor, it was the third one. He's like, "This is the third one that's popped up. Yeah, need to go figure out like this is no coincidence." And I think in his vision he saw like the Power Stone too from Guardians. So I think technically you're supposed to watch Guardians before you watch Age of Ultron because of that scene. Anyways, back to it. So when Cap and Widow are walking back in, when Widow's talking to Cap, like, well, Thor, Hulk, and Banner are all gone, so we need a new team. And they walk in that room, and effectively it's telling you that's the new Avengers lineup that we never really got to actually see in a movie, really. But yeah, Falcon. So then Falcon, yeah, and then so then Falcon. So Falcon, Scarlet Witch, and Vision, I think, are there. So they had an actress come in and do a cameo as Captain Marvel, as Carol Danvers. No idea who she is, but there is a scene of it. They did record it, but they ended up scrapping it because they weren't going to have the character ready in time. And I think they wanted to not have her be a B character, and they wanted her to be like a main face character because, I mean, she's like the most powerful Marvel hero aside from Scarlet Witch and Jean Grey. I mean, and then maybe Silver Surfer too, as far as like on the hero's side. So it sucks that they just kind of botched her character entirely as far as when to get her introduced, and then too, they like hyped her up like she was going to be this big powerhouse player at Endgame, and then Endgame, the Russos decided like, yeah, we're not gonna use you. We're gonna use Rocket and Nebula because people like them a whole lot more than they like your character. So we're not gonna use you. Same thing with no, I can't say that. Never mind. So yeah, just not gonna use you. And yeah, you're right. Like you never. So we never like that's the thing that's funny about the MCU is that like they never did a new Avengers. Well, they showed you the new Avengers, but they didn't do a movie. Same thing with Civil War. So that splits the Avengers up. So that's when you see the new Avengers, is Civil War, the very beginning. And then they have Civil War and they split up. So then at the end of Civil War, you basically see Captain go break all out his secret Avengers team, which again, you don't get a movie of, but you kind of do throughout Infinity Wars. So, you know, it is what it is. But no, back to it though. not to rant on about the MCU and things that they didn't really handle the best, because it still all works for them. You got to always remind yourself it is an adaptation. Much as I want to see what I want to see, it is an adaptation. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. I'm obviously very excited for the movie. I always like is I like all like a lot of characters. Like some people don't like a lot of characters. They're like, oh, it's overwhelming. You have all these characters. Nah, I'm like, I mean, shit. That's why My Hero Academia is so amazing. Probably to me and most nerds is because it's like, yeah, give me like all the characters, all of them. So,
I mean, I agree. I mean, look, we're huge fans of Star Wars. Look how many characters in Star Wars. Lord of the Rings. We were literally just talking about Lord of the Rings. Look at how many characters are in that.
yeah.
No, they didn't all get their own solo movies before they got into the the big team up movies. They just did it.
Right. So but yeah, that's literally all I had for news. I think I saw too. The other thing is that that Spider-Man freshman year animated show. I think people were worried that they were going to end up canceling it, but I guess it looks like that it will come out. It just might end up being sometime next year. But who knows, man? I mean, I kind of am shocked that the strikes are still going on, to be honest. I don't think either one has gotten resolved.
No, I think the studio made a counter offer finally, but I don't think the actors accepted that badly. So
yeah,
it'll still hopefully. I mean, it'll still probably take some time, but hopefully it's just not much longer. I know we keep saying that every week, but
something's. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like, well, shit. One of you has to give. So, and that's what's like kind of weird about this is that it feels like it's gonna just drag on until one side just like finally just gives, which that sucks, but I don't know.
Hopefully it's a studio that gives.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the strikes, especially for like when you're the actor. I mean, I get it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. I really think they just need to figure out the residuals thing and then the AI shit. I think as far as like I know they want increase in wages so they can afford healthcare and all that stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember what the counter was. It was like the biggest like percentage increase in like 50 years or something like that. The AI thing, which was really interesting, they offered that us as a studio, we should be able to use it, but nothing that it is used with AI would be copyrightable.
Oh, so that's I see where that's why they want to get out of paying residuals then.
Well, it's as
Right?
far as like if the studio is
Because if
using
it's not a if it's if they
AI, they can't. It's like if they create something using AI, they don't have, proprietary, control over it. So if they created like an animation using purely AI, nobody can stop you or I from taking that same animation and reusing it because it's not copyrightable. There's like since it's just kind of no human is actually like making it, no work's going into it. That's basically like what they kind of pitch is like, yeah, we can use it, but like we won't be able to like copyright it or anything.
Well, I'm more getting at like the whole thing of where they want to like, they want to record people for background scenes and then use that image and likeness indefinitely and never have to pay residual out for it. And I would assume that if they're going to do that, to actually use that indefinitely, I would imagine that takes some sort of AI to do. But I mean, obviously, I don't work in the industry, so I don't really know. So when
I
I
don't
hear,
know if I saw an update to those terms because I remember there was some terms where it was like you got paid for might have only been a day or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it was something really pathetic for something that they could use for basically eternity. So I don't know what the updated one to that was. Actually, I didn't hear about that one, but yeah, that's going to be probably a really interesting one as well. Nice river for them to cross.
yeah.
So, let's see. I think that unless you heard any Star Wars news, I think it's review time.
No, I haven't, and I'll be honest, I don't really look for it anymore.
Other than Ahsoka coming out, obviously, first 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's about it. That's all I've got is just reviews for that.
Well, what do you wanna get into first?
Let's do the cartoons first, because Ahsoka was a big two episode release, and what did that ended up being a total of like an hour and a half of total time?
Yeah, like an hour and 43 or 47.
Yeah, something like that. So maybe let's do the let's see. We got the Harley Quinn episode, and then the 2 parts of 0 Day for Superman.
Yep, we have Harley Quinn season 4, episode 7, and My Adventures with Superman season 1. I think it's 8 and 9.
I think you're right.
Because 10, yep, 8 and 9. So
Is 10 the finale?
yes. So this week, or this coming week, it's the finale.
Now that sucks.
You want to start off? You want to start with the solo Harley Quinn episode, and then get into the 2-parter?
Yeah, that works. So Harley Quinn.
Miss Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
So Harley's going a little cray.
Harley going crazy? No.
She's sane, right? Yeah.
Right.
No.
I like that.
When we last saw her, she saw herself at the. Was it some party? I can't remember where she saw herself at the end of the last episode.
She did. She saw her.
Oh, she was with the Legion of the Legion of Doom celebration during when the Legionnaires were celebrating. She caught herself across the room, which leads into this one. So Nightwing is still dead, obviously. Obviously, oh my god, this breakdown is terrible. Anyway, whatever. She's going crazy. We also have Joker that confessed to murdering Nightwing.
Yep.
Which Batgirl does not believe in the slightest.
Right. Because she's like, well, he if he did it, he would have immediately bragged about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's just he wouldn't have been able to contain himself.
Right. Yeah. And it's so funny how
it's very true.
It's so funny how in the episode too, like Harley first goes to Gordon and he can barely help her because the security tape's been like junked. So then she goes to the next Gordon, who's like, "Yeah, I get the fuck out of here. I don't want to help you." Like, oh man, loved it. But yeah, so she's not convinced that Joker did it. So what? She starts hacking into all the security like cameras around the entirety of Gotham.
Yeah, Batgirl's just going full-blown detective mode, trying to figure out who actually did this, or at least trying to prove that Joker didn't do it. Which eventually, in the episode, she does dig up some dirt and shows video evidence that Joker was, what was it? Was it massage or was it like acupuncture? Or no, or was it sleep apnea?
He was going in for a
at the
sleep
doctor or
apnea.
something.
He was a sleep apnea test, but he couldn't
Like,
sleep.
I remember him just laying down and doing something.
Yeah, the best part about it was he was going in for a sleep apnea test, and then he couldn't sleep. It was like he was tossing and turning, and he like would get up and he'd have the mask off, and he's just staring in a mirror because he was depressed. Real quick though. So another return of a character we said have been missing. Dr. Psycho finally showed up.
I thought of you when I saw him sitting in there at first. I was
thought
worried that he was just going to be in that scene, and then when it like immediately cut to like the podcast or the show, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I like how they're playing 5-card poker. They're playing 5-card poker, and Joker has 5 jokers. He's like, house wins. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
I think what I loved about, I think when you look at it, it almost looked like all of them were cheating. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I saw like 2 people with like full aces, and it's like, well, that's not even possible.
Right.
So I love that it was like they were all cheating, but Joker had just all the jokers, so just house wins.
Yeah. Funny.
We also, so eventually after Harley can't seem to get anybody to talk to her and can't seem to track down Ivy, she goes to the Legion of Doom Tower, or at least office building, talks to Nora, right?
It is Nora.
Yeah. Talks to Nora and basically can't get anything out of her. She's being typical Nora bitch shit, you know.
Yeah.
But catches the fight on TV where Ivy and the natural disasters are wreaking havoc, stealing a time sphere. And so then Harley's like, well, fuck you, bitch. I'm just going to go get her. Because I think even they show off in the distance, you could see where the mayhem was at. So eventually, obviously, Harley kind of crashes things. Her and Harley and Ivy are kind of fighting on top of the truck, right? Yeah, because Ivy's like got the vines inside controlling the truck driver that's still in there.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, all I remember really from that is they just fight for a little bit. Eventually, Harley gets control of the time sphere, just jumps in there, and Ivy follows her in there. They go back.
Yeah, she figures out how it works. She figures out how it works, or she thinks she does, like that, and then they jump in.
Them damn 7s and 1s, man.
Yeah. They go forward in the future by like. They made a joke of it because then they think like, oh, we're 1,000 years or something, or they say some outrageous number, and they're just like, no, it's only been like 2 decades.
Yeah, it's so they go to the year 2048, so it was 24 years that they went into the future.
Yeah. But it was
and
funny
apparently,
I think when they pop out, they're like, we're like 50 years in the future, some stupid shit. They're like, yeah, it's only been 24, but yeah. So I can't remember what happens exactly, like right when they get out, but I know.
I think doesn't like kind of the flying robots kind of go after them, and then the people come out of like the pothole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Trying to like drag them and pull them in, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously Harley and Ivy fight, but they eventually get them and take them down. Which then they later reveal the leader is Ivy kid. And Harley's kid.
Yes, yeah, it's their kid.
Who do you think gave birth?
I
like how the first question was, who was the semen donor?
yeah. So that was the best. Because it makes sense. Like, so it makes sense. The very first question is, who was the semen donor?
No, I am assuming here, but I'm assuming Ivy carried just because of the great skin. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But not that it actually fucking matters. But this shit was so fucking hilarious. Like just seeing them kind of freak out and just. What did we name you? Neytiri.
Yeah.
Oh, we wouldn't name you from something from Avatar. That movie sucks.
Yeah, dude, I was dying when what did we name you? Just Nick Fury. I just died. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Then, well, because she had an eye patch, right?
Oh no, they named her Neytiri.
Right, but didn't
from Avatar.
Oh, Neytiri from I heard Nick.
Not
Fury.
Nick. Oh my
Yeah.
god! If they would have, oh, they should have done Nick Fury.
Yeah, when I was watching,
that would have been so much better.
I thought they said Nick Fury. I didn't realize which makes sense. They said something from Avatar. That's Warner Brothers, so that makes sense more than potentially getting, a nice fine from old Disney for using that name.
I want to go back and watch it though. I wonder if maybe they were like cheeky about it, and one of them maybe said it in a weird way to sound like Nick Fury, because that's kind of funny. Because it would make sense for her to be named Nick Fury with the eye patch.
I was gonna say I thought it was Nick Fury, and I was laughing because like she has the eye patch and everything.
That's a missed opportunity right there. Damn it.
And just no,
but,
but it makes sense in the Fury because he said that they're like, no, we wouldn't have named her something from Avatar. So they basically so they're in this future, and the funny thing is that the Damian Wayne Robin has created this dystopia because he's basically has used the money from Wayne Foundation to make robots so he can watch over the entire world, or at least Gotham, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so what they devised the plan, and it's funny too because like one of them is King Shark's son. Like one of the sons is
he's the real one.
But the real one.
I'm trying to see if I can find a name for him, but I can't find an actual name for his son. But whatever.
I thought well, weren't they even just calling him King Shark Jr. like smartasses? I can't remember.
That might be why there's no name here that I can't find. They might have just never actually gave him one.
Yeah.
But I do obviously love that Damien's a spoiled little brat still. Piece of shit.
Oh, you mean when they get there?
# worst Robin ever. I said it. I fucking said it. Even lower than Stephanie Brown. What'd she amount to? Just becoming the spoiler.
That's low.
He's actually cooler than her. I do like Stephanie Brown. Oh, actually, I forgot about Carrie Kelly too. It's hard to rate them. They're only in for like Stephanie Brown had a real short stint. Literally, Carrie Kelly's just in The Dark Knight Returns, so it's hard to judge them.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, are they even really fair to go after? But
no, I just like to include them because nobody else does. But then I felt bad because I was throwing them at the bottom, and I was like, "What am I really trying to accomplish here? I'm just looking like it. Look at me, I'm a dick.
You're a dick. Don't be a dick. Hopeless.
I'm gonna try. It's hopeless.
Dude, but yeah, so Damien's, it just ends up being that he's a spoiled little brat, but I mean, dude, when he's in the chair at the computer and he's like basically playing a video game, and then they bust the helmet off of him, and his haircut is Roz's haircut. I lost it. I lost it, dude. That's when I texted you and said, I was like, automatic, this is hilarious. This episode's hilarious. Like, when he's just this fat, overweight nerd gamer that's got his grandfather's hairline. Like, oh my god.
With Robot Alfred.
Robot Alfred. Oh. And then the plot twist is that he hired what was she calling herself? Because like Harley and Ivy's kid. I can't remember, but you know, it ends up being that she only drugged them there so he could freeze them for his collection. And I like how he had everyone up in a wall like as fucking human trophies.
It's almost like he. Make sure I'm actually right here. They turned him into almost like Brainiac. I feel like doesn't Brainiac just like fucking collect people? Am I getting him mixed up with somebody else?
No, I think Brainiac has the.
I feel like Brainiac like collects universes, which granted it's on a smaller level, but doesn't
Well, I do
Brainiac
know
like
that
collect like universes
Brainiac
or people?
didn't there's usually the Superman lines where doesn't Brainiac like shrink down Kandor?
Yeah, like he shrinks down places and puts them in like little spheres, like right? Like I'm not
Yeah.
making that up.
No, I don't know. You're not making that up. I think that well, yeah, I think that's what he does, and like that's how like his knowledge grows because he shrinks
Has like
stuff
full
down.
civilizations, like just
Yeah.
watch. Okay, I was making sure. Like for some reason, I wasn't fully confident in that. I was like, I feel like I'm getting him mixed up with somebody else, but I feel like that's like what Brainiac does. I sadly like I've only read like I feel like Brainiac doesn't actually show up enough. Like I've only seen like a couple, or like read a few of actual comic stories, which I think the one I'm remembering is from New 52. Underrated, just like the Snyderverse. Fuck everybody. Um. So yeah, obviously, Neytiri. You are right. She did call herself something different, but I can't think of what the fuck it was called.
Well, it was so funny too. Even then, they were like, she's like, "You guys were the worst parents. All you did was toxically fight." She's like, "You never even gave me a name. I had to give myself one my first day of kindergarten." Like, you know. And Harley says something back to her like, "Oh, that's a stupid fucking name." And she's like, she goes, "I knew we would have never named you that. That's a stupid fucking name." Or something.
Yeah,
She says
I
something
didn't
like
like when
that
she
to
yeah,
her as
when
they're
she finally
fighting.
admitted it.
And then in
I
Harley
do
and
agree.
Ivy,
Like when
what's up?
no, go ahead, go ahead. No,
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, and then in Harley and Ivy fashion, they like, they overlook like the problems their relationships actually have, and they just sit there and say to themselves how like, no, we're fucking awesome, and like basically, and they just
We
proceed
were
to like,
great parents.
yeah, they're like we would have been great parents, and then they just like beat the shit out of her like tag team style, and it's just hilarious. Oh man, so good.
They obviously they kick their daughter's ass and they skate back, or they think they escape back to their timeline. However, they arrive in the present six
Yeah.
days after they had originally left, and the apocalypse has already started, which I think was my favorite part about the whole thing. Is you think 10 years down the line something drastic happens or whatever after they left. No, it's just less than a week after they leave, this shit fucking pops up.
Right.
So we have 3 episodes left, I believe, left in this season for Harley Quinn. So overall, I agree with you. I think this is one of the stronger episodes this season. I feel like I was kind of enjoying myself more and actually more audibly laughing or chuckling, at least. I just felt
It's
like this.
there's only, I mean, of all the episodes that have released, I mean, on IMDb, it is, and I mean, it's in the top three. So yeah, but sorry, sorry that I cut you off, but I agree too, though. I was actually audibly like laughing at this one, and I wasn't too badly like, how we say how like you'll be watching it, and then I'm just like, well, what's going on X?
What's going on? The old X gonna give it to you.
Yeah, what's going on X?
Do you still have that IMDb thing pulled up by chance?
Yeah, I do.
Would the other top 3 episodes be 1 and 2 by chance?
The other top ones for their star ratings are 1 and 3. But then,
Oh, 3's when they go to Clayface's show, isn't it?
yeah,
That makes sense.
and two is number 4. So IMDb, even their crowd felt like we did, where 4, 5, and 6 just kind of felt like it's like, yeah, they were okay, but it's just like the laughs were kind of dying down and not really all there. But
yeah, I would agree,
yeah,
because I feel like when the first 2 episodes dropped, we felt pretty good. I think we pretty high, at least feeling pretty good about the start of this season. 3 was also pretty great. So yeah, actually, I forgot about that episode somehow. But yeah, I would agree of that being. I wouldn't argue with anybody saying that's the top 3 of the season.
Card? Yes,
Dude. Yeah.
He's not breathing.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, that is better than number 2. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So that actually kind of does make me feel better because, yeah, the previous 3 episodes have kind of definitely felt like a lull compared to the rest of this series. So hopefully this is a good sign that maybe there was just a little random lull and the season will finish strong, kind of how it started. So maybe we won't feel so bad about the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I hope too, is that I hope that it's just like the middle of the season lull and they were saving the best for last. Because there are 3 left. So we'll get number 8 this week, and then there's 2 more. And then yeah, I don't know. But
yeah, we usually don't do scores for this, so I'll give it the old thumbs up. You know, bang. This is one of the good ones this season. Alright, so now we will move on to My Adventures with Superman. Although I ain't gonna lie, probably gonna have to cut it here because I gotta piss real bad. So we're gonna take a little break here real quick, and then we'll cut back to the other side. My Adventures with Superman and Ahsoka.
all right, sounds good.
KP, what the fuck? You're supposed to take your clothes off as it goes on, not put more on. Go back to that Jax?
What?
Go back to the Jax?
No, cookie.
Oh fuck yeah, a little dessert, not bad.
Yeah, I'm just eating a cookie before it gets old.
I'm gonna crack a brewski here.
I've been cheating a lot lately. And I kind of gained like 2 or 3 pounds, so that sucks. I have to knock it off.
I'm gonna have to hit you up to give me ideas for like a workout routine for my new at-home gym thing I got.
What'd you get?
It's a Marcy's.
A what?
Marcy's home gym.
Marcy's home gym.
Yeah,
So like what?
It's like 150-pound max, I believe. I'm a weak boy, Floyd.
This thing from Dick's, Marcy, 150-pound stack home gym.
Probably. I got it at a estate sale, so I didn't buy it brand new. But it pretty much looks
damn, dude. Damn, dude, brand new, $500. Shit.
Yeah, I paid $110. But it's pretty. It looks barely used, so pretty good condition.
Yeah, man, I can.
But I need to beef up before I go to the Dominican this winter, dog. I missed the time frame to get the summer bod, so
The Dominican, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. wish I could go to the Dominican. You doing like a cruise out there? Or you just flying over?
Flying, all inclusive, like it's like a family trip. It's basically it's the same thing that like why I went to Jamaica last year. It's the same like family trip, except this year it's just Dominican Republic instead.
God damn. I wish I had a family that could do shit like that. Well, yeah, no, I wish I had a family that could do shit that did shit like that or could do shit like that. Because I imagine that's pretty expensive, so you probably are pinching your pennies.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad when you think about it. Like it's definitely like worth it in a way, but yeah, it's.
Well, of course, it's worth it. It's a fucking vacation, and you know how many times in your life are you really going to get to do that? So.
True.
Or at least, you know, especially like while you're young and you can really enjoy it.
Very true.
Yeah, true. I know,
yeah. And honestly, for me, growing up, like I did very little traveling.
Same.
I mean, like for me, until college, really, my only real travel story was a family trip to Colorado for a week when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So it's like I remember it, but like it's not the same. Being in like high school or college and traveling, like I didn't really get. Other than that, the next thing was in college when I got to go to New Orleans. That was the first time I actually flew.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. When you went down and visited that Austin kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You even talk to him anymore?
No.
Okay.
But
that's a shame, but oh well.
Yeah, it's a real weird, messy story, but we don't need to get into that. But adventures, my adventures, not my adventures. Lois and Jimmy's Adventures with Superman. Episode 8 and 9.
That's what the show should be called.
Ellen J's Adventures with Superman.
Lois and Jimmy's Adventures with Superman.
Still would have watched it.
Right.
Honestly, this title's already too long. I wish there was like a popular acronym, like MSWS, but nobody uses that. So nobody's How I Met Your Mother it yet.
You can call it like Moz, My Adventures with Superman. Moz. What's up, bro?
Let's fucking start that, dude.
Moz.
Instead of the original Moss, Man of Steel. Oh, it still spells out Man of Steel.
I don't know about that one, buddy. But
no, I'm saying like, Man of Steel is Moss. This is Moss.
Moss.
At this point, it's the difference between bowl and bowl. All right, they're different.
Bowl.
There's bowl, and then there's bowl.
Yep.
Sorry, bowl. And then there's bowl and bowl.
Right.
Get what I'm saying? Just like there's pin and pen. I've lost you. All right.
No, I get what you're saying.
Episode 8, Season 1, 0 Day, Part 1.
God,
how deep you want me to get in the weeds in this bad boy? All right, here we go. At a mysterious government facility, the criminals captured by Task Force S are released from their cells by the General, who activates the shock collars on their necks and tells them that they will pay for their crimes with a special mission. Meanwhile, Superman has developed a new superpower, super hearing, and begins to listen to every sound and spoken word throughout the city. As a result, Superman spends the entire night saving people and fighting crime, but ends up burning himself out and drinking lots of coffee.
I was gonna say, that's right. It's like he's like all like jittered out. remember.
I love how they just like the dark eyes underneath.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, Jimmy. It's just
Jimmy.
He's just, Clark, what's the matter with you? He's like, I've been up all night saving people because I hear them.
I hear them.
Yeah.
I just think about how fucking like just either scary or annoying that would be. That's one thing. The other Moss, Man of Steel, I think portrayed really, really brilliantly well was just how scary that would be as far as like on the reverse side, as far as his vision, like seeing the skeletons and how like for a kid that'd be scary, like, and then also him just hearing everything and being overwhelmed by it, like. I don't know. I just feel like that's something that's like just one of them things that just isn't explored enough. Just like how weird it would actually be to have like these type of superpowers, like how overstimulating it could possibly be.
Right.
But obviously, they took the more comedic route here, where he's more, jittered out on coffee and caffeine, or actually lack of, probably.
Yeah.
Trying to at least get his caffeine into him. When Jimmy, of course, returns to the apartment, Superman tells him that he's picked out words spoken by the general, who Superman believes to be in danger to society and needs to be stopped. Excuse me. He also remembers to leave out dozens of flowers at Lois's office at the Daily Planet before returning to his superhero duties. Because my boy Superman, even when he's tired AF, dead as a dog, he's still top BF dog. He's that boyfriend material.
He's that boyfriend material.
But Superman continues to help people across the city, all while trying to track the general down. He catches wind of an invisible man on a crime spree and believes he's being chased by the criminal. Unfortunately, all the activity he has done over the last few days begins catching up to him, to the point where he briefly collapses from exhaustion while chasing after Mist, as we call him. I'm not going to lie, a lot of these villains, it's really hard to tell who they are other than Livewire. Livewire is really the only one that I immediately was like, I'm assuming that's who that is. A lot of them, it's a real struggle for me to know who they actually are.
Like I said, like I didn't even know that was like Deathstroke. Like I didn't know that was Slade until you told me. Like I didn't know that.
Oh, I guess he was the only other one where.
I mean, but
as far as like the villains, other than Waller was apparent, in Lane, we were still even like questioning. We were like, I mean, this is Lois's dad, right? Like,
have they still not?
They Sam Lane.
So did they actually say his name in the episodes? I must have missed it.
They did in the flashback.
Okay, I missed it.
It was just making me just like question myself if I'm fucking up the name, but whatever. Sorry. But yeah, so he obviously Superman's just, trying to catch up to Mist. Mist is freaking out because he's going after him, but he just keeps collapsing of exhaustion. When he eventually does find him, he's about to get hit by a truck. He saves Mist, but damages the truck in the process, which of course in this day's age, people are all like, whoa, phone's out, gotta send this to TMZ, get my money. I need my money.
Gotta send this.
So gotta put my my social handles on there so that even it's on TMZ. People know who I am. I get follows.
Yes.
But he ends up saving him. But after saves him, he basically is just shocked and says, "Fuck you, man!" Just goes on. So Superman has to continue his search while being completely. Take it away from me. Do you remember anything from here, Friday? I don't know why I have such an itchy throat right
now. Kinda. This is a problem. I watched it too.
I mean, I do have some decent notes, so
that's my thing. Is I need to start making notes because it didn't really sit with me.
Okay.
Sadly,
I am so sorry, listeners and watchers. I don't know what the fuck is going on with my throat right now.
I sadly don't.
I have an allergic reaction.
I don't really remember. I do remember that it was Mist that kept screwing with him, running around, and then he saves him from the truck, and everyone but
Yeah. So
I want to say I know that eventually they basically bait him, right? Like the general baits him into a trap with all the other villains.
uh
I thought.
basically. So let me try to go back down further. Yeah, I'll just continue where left off. Back at the Daily Planet, Lois has found the flowers that Superman left at their office, but she has no time to appreciate them when she stares at the hologram device she stole from the League. She wonders whether
Right.
she really knows who Superman is, if he's the good guy, the bad guy. Gets a call from Perry to get a new assignment. He introduces her to Vicky, who is an old
That's
college, almost seems like a fling potentially, but also
maybe.
somewhat of a
I
rivalry in the
think it was
same
a
way.
rivalry. I remember because it's Vicky Vale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
and I remember
Gotham.
that. And you're right. Yeah, it was funny because she's teasing him about college, and Perry's just kind of "Rrr," just kind of grumpy about it. And I think I took it as it was a rivalry.
It was definitely a rivalry, but it almost seemed like there was maybe at one time there was like maybe a little fling, but then jealousy took hold because Vicky's just been number one
Yeah,
for like ever. It seems
and I
like.
do remember that Vicky is so she's trying to track people down to get opinions on Superman that are negative.
Yeah.
I
So
remember
she doesn't
that.
make that apparent in the beginning,
No,
but we do find out that's what
the,
that
the Lois's
that
hero is an asshole.
dastardly vixen is up to.
Yeah, Lois's
Um,
hero is
but
an
uh,
asshole.
but yeah, Lois gets assigned to a sister as well as Jimmy to be photography.
Yes.
Um, So then it goes on to, of course, like according to Vicky, Superman is dangerous because he's a powerful individual who answers to no one, despite Lois's protest that Superman wouldn't hurt anyone. Vicky wants to interview individuals that say negative things. After they interviewed the kid reporter, who did they all interview? I should have probably because before they went to the negative ones. Who were the positive ones? Because they went to the kid newspaper.
Yep.
I feel like there was two other ones they went to. Or was it only that one? And then they went to the negative ones.
Maybe it was only that one.
Might have been only that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it. But anyway, Vicky wants to interview people that have a more negative opinion of Superman. So she interviews Mr. Alexander, who is, of course, Alexander Luthor.
Right.
I like how they haven't like fully confirmed that yet. At least to my knowledge, I haven't heard them say Luthor yet as his last name, but we all know. Of course, let's see. Actually, that was really it, wasn't it? Was there really only two interviews? Why do I feel like there was more than two interviews? But was it just those two?
I think so. I can't really remember how many there were.
Maybe it was only just those two, and I just felt like it was more. I don't know why. But obviously, Vicky is happy that she got that dirty dirt on that Superman, but Lois and Jimmy are still trying to fight that perception and protect Clark.
Mhm.
And then Jimmy gets a message on his phone that says Superman has caused an accident from the truck incident earlier. We're trying to save Mist. Um, so let's see there. So of course, then Lois and Jimmy dart off to try to find Superman to make sure he's okay. When they find him, he promises he'll make things right. They tell him that he needs to just like stand down, get some rest. You look exhausted. You got the dark, puffy eyes, my guy. You're not looking good. And then what was? Oh, he heard. Did he hear General Lane again? Is that what causes him to go back?
Maybe. I think so. That makes sense. Like, yeah, doesn't he like focus on his hearing and then he hears General Lane again?
I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive. But on the side, we also learned that Vicky was basically using Jimmy and Lois to basically just get a promotion and got it. Vicky Vale is now part of the Daily Planet, and I can't remember what her exact title was. It seemed like she was probably either right under Perry, but probably, which makes no sense.
It's really, to me, it's really weird that they're using her character in this show, because isn't Vicky Vale typically the reporter that's always in Batman?
Yeah, she's always in Gotham. Yeah.
That's more in Gotham. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Christ,
she's usually in Gotham.
Batman, 1989 Batman. That's the character is Vicky Vale.
Yeah.
Kim Basinger, right? Right? Yeah.
I won't remember that.
Yeah. Anyways, so like it's just weird to me how they're using Vicky Vale in this, but whatever. So yeah, she gets her
appreciate the shout out nonetheless.
Yeah.
But Superman eventually finds Mist, who tells him that he ran away when Task Force X arrested the other members of the inner gang, and now they're moving the prisoners into a new location. Mist wants to break his sister out of prison, but Superman says they will need to help him in exchange for Mist and his friends turning themselves in for their crimes. Superman and Mist reach the Task Force X. I don't know why I can't fucking say that today. Task Force X launch pad. But it's already taken off. So when Superman breaks off into it, he saves the prisoners, but is attacked by the new Task Force X, composed by the same prisoners the government had captured earlier. So, we got, honestly, Mist even betrayed him as well. Sister, big fisty punchy boy. And then Slade was there, right? Yeah. Slade was there.
Don't they use like
so Mist was a dick and let him into a trap? It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. It's a trap. Don't they use like the red sun too to like weaken Superman in the trap or something? I want to say.
Can't remember actually.
Thought they did. That's how they captured him.
Oh, it makes sense. Yeah, because I think you're right. Because I don't remember kryptonite being used.
I don't think they use kryptonite now.
Yeah, sorry, apologies. It's been a few weeks since I've seen this one.
But here I can barely remember it. And
at the end, Superman fights valiantly, but is overwhelmed by Task Force X superior numbers and his own physical exhaustion. That even when he incapacitates a few members for never mind. I think it was just exhaustion. Oh no, wait, no. Dr. Ivo drains Superman's energy and nearly kills him until the General activates his shock collar. With Superman captured, the General calls him at the end of the world, or calls him the end of the world, and orders Livewire to knock him unconscious with a lightning bolt. Which then, after she does, they load him up and then they depart to Metropolis. So no, you might be right, because maybe they did use something that maybe uses red sun energy to drain him even further than what he was, and then put the collar on him. I'd say it's been so fucking long. Jesus, let us know in the comments. Jesus, yell at us at how fucking wrong we are. But that ends part 1. What do you think overall of of part one, from what we can remember from it. I'll say, from what I remember, I loved how these two flow together before we get into the second one. But it's, one other than, thank God, that synopsis thing that I read, I wouldn't have remembered most of that other than just Superman getting captured at the end.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it was good. I mean, I guess I could more say it was okay, just because I can't really remember much of what happened in the episode, apart from, like I said, like the Vicky Vale introduction, and that more just stuck with me than anything, because I just thought it was so weird that they would have like included her character in this.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it in a weird way because, although I don't know, it is just a Superman show, so yeah, I do get it. But it's almost kind of like still growing the DC world in that Superman world. I don't know. Is this me? We're getting a Batman in My Adventures with Superman. My Adventures with World Finest. Oh,
maybe. And will the Batman be older? So then we're kind of getting a teaser of what Superman Legacy will be like.
Is My Adventures a part of the DCU, James Gunn?
Is My Adventures actually like the origin to the Superman movie that's going to come out, since James Gunn, you already said it wasn't going to be an origin movie? So is this show just that origin movie?
My God, he's right. And oh my God.
Damn it, Jordan, think, Jordan, think!
Guess, but wait. Who's in this universe still, KP? Who's still alive? Pa Kent.
True.
It just further hammers home your point.
Yeah. So this is just the origin to Superman. We have a live action Superman stand there, fucking Goku the fuck up, and his eyes are gonna go blue, and then just all of a sudden his fucking clothes are gonna transform. Everyone's gonna hate it except us.
Also, side note, what if James Gunn's it's not, by the way, this is purely a joke hypothetical, but what if James Gunn's Superman ends up being like the red and blue Superman, the electric one, where he's got that fucking suit? He's just like, you guys keep talking about if I'm gonna have the red trunks or not. Like, they're not a thing. This is gonna be the blue and white suit.
So your theory is that James Gunn's Superman is actually Jonathan Kent, right? It's John Kent.
So that's where the inspiration basically came from to give him that stuff, was the red and blue electric, right, like Superman from whatever, the 90s or early 2000s. I can't even fucking remember. It was terrible. Nobody liked it. But on to episode 9.
That just made
Zero Day, part 2.
Okay.
Ever since Superman was captured by Task Force X, Lois and Jimmy have been searching for Superman all over Metropolis, but so far haven't been able to find him.
Look.
The News Kid Legion offers to... Oh, is that? Yes, the News Kids Legion. That's the
News Kids Legion.
Offers their help with the help, and Lois accepts. Unfortunately, even with the News Kid Legion, they find no clues that could lead them to Superman, and Lois feeds... Oh my God, be composed. Lois feels disappointed at herself for hurting Clark's feelings when he needed her support. Jimmy promises that they will find him, and Lois agrees to continue the search. Superman himself has been outfitted with a shock collar and taken to Task Force X's secret base, where he is interrogated by the general. So he wants Superman to tell them when the invasion will start. But obviously, our Clark, Superman, does not know what he's talking about or recognizes what he's even mentioning. So we get a flashback to the young general and young Amanda Waller in their young army days. We get this invasion from Krypton. We also get a glimpse of Clark's pod coming in at the same time.
Okay.
Apparently. I only say that because Clark himself says that he saw it in this vision. I did not see it, but apparently it happened. Because there was a lot of flying objects in this scene. So
Are you?
Yeah, sure. You're one of them, bud.
Are you just real quick? I probably should have brought. Maybe I should have brought this up a lot earlier. Are you aware that every time you lean forward, you basically completely go off camera?
Oh, I have my notes in front of my face, so. Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're good. You're good. But no, it's funny. I just now kind of dawned on me. I'm like, does he realize? I was like sitting there like, okay, he's got to see himself, but then you keep doing it. But
Yeah, no,
whatever, man. I'm just trying to get the audience here that's watching the video to see your face. So, all right. So you're saying the pod was in that. So when the window opened, by Jay, I'm talking to myself here. So I guess everyone, when the window of the portal, whatever, from Krypton, the rip through space and time opened in the sky of Earth because of this other, I guess what okay, was Clark's pod the giant fucking symbol looking ship that was vertical in the sky before they had the invasion? Is that what you're saying? Like, where was his pod at? Because I missed that then.
No, I'm saying I missed it as well. The only reason I'm saying that is because Clark later in the episode says that he saw his pod come in through the vision. To me, there was too many flying shits coming in through the portal that I didn't know what the fuck was his pod or not. It just seemed like a bunch of battleships and then other smaller stuff. So I would assume it would be one of those like smaller, like silver not triangle, but the little small. Well, they're triangle in the front, but the backs weren't triangle. But like, you remember seeing like a bunch of the smaller, like silver or grayish looking ones? I would assume maybe he was one of those.
Maybe.
Because the only reason I say that is because the back was more round, and like the ship that they've established in the show that like has his pod that landed has like they've alluded to the possibility that it's like grown over the years. So I don't know if it was maybe one of those like smaller ones that embedded in the earth, and now it's like we've theorized that maybe it's slowly terraforming Earth.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe it was one of those. Because they didn't even like when he like says that, they didn't even like show back to it and like show the pod or anything. They just said it. And I was like, oh, interesting. He saw himself. Which I figured that's when he came anyway, but I just didn't see his pod myself anyway. But we also haven't gotten to see the full pod because all we've seen is just this big top of it or the bottom of it.
Yeah.
That seems to be growing.
What's interesting about the invasion piece is that these bots come down, transform, and they start messing up all the active U.S. military people, but then there was like a being there that had a helmet on, and he was like doing lasers out of his mask. And part of me is like wondering, is it Zod, or is it like, is this maybe gonna be this like show's version of maybe like Brainiac working for Krypton, or I don't know, because it's very interesting, like the direction they're going with it. Like, I understand how we've had iterations before. I mean, it was even in Man of Steel how Krypton went out and conquered like other planets and they terraformed them, and then eventually they kind of stopped doing that and they became very like a bunch of pacifists. So I just wonder if like that little instance there of when they're like trying to invade, if that was Zod with a bunch of other Kryptonians or whatever trying to use their technology to take over the Earth, so then it could just be one more planet to terraform.
Honestly, I kind of want to go back and rewatch because
I'll say this.
I should have looked to see what the actual crest was on the chest because it would make.
I don't
Not
know
that
if
it
there
would matter,
was
but
one though.
like
That's the problem.
maybe there wasn't. Like, I kind of have the same thought as you though. I was wondering if it was odd or maybe if it was like if they're going to go more of the Jor-El is not necessarily good and pure in this one, like some stories have. But I hope that does get answered. I would like to know who that very prominent figure was in the invasion. I'd like to know who that was in the future for sure. Hopefully it's Zod, because I would love to see Zod in this show.
I just have a feeling it is just because we've already seen Jor-El once and he was in like that all white suit. But then again, there's the whole multiverse sphere that showed Clark in the all white suit and he was basically destroying humanity at that point. So
True.
it's yeah, I guess it could go either direction. I'll say this. I bet Clark's pod is there, like you said, just because that's probably like so the invasion stops because they see a white flash behind them, and then all of a sudden the portal just closes and all the machines die down. And if Clark's saying, "Well, I saw my pod come in," well, obviously we know then that's Krypton exploding. So that's probably what it is it was just convenience.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
because again, like the general says later, after so he shows Clark all that stuff, and Clark like is crying, and the general's like taken aback by it because he didn't expect to see that, and Clark's just Kal-El is just kind of like, why would they do this? And like he basically kind of sheds tears because he doesn't like knowing that he actually is an alien that comes from like just these murderous people because he believes in being good and helping people. So that's how he was raised. So then the general's like he says to Waller, what if he what if he really does age like us? He goes, he would have only been a child at that point in time because he says like I was 20 years ago. So
Yep.
so yeah, it lines up that like that's the whole thing about it is that Earth got lucky in that invasion that Krypton exploded because like they turn like the ominous figure like he turns and looks as the white flash happens and then the portal just closes and then the machines fall down and it's like they're fine and then yeah now you've had this General Sam Lane and Amanda Waller like paranoid for the last 2 decades, advancing the military in secret for the return of this invasion.
That was never going to come.
That was that was never going to come because they don't realize how that planet's gone. I would bet it is Zod. Like I could see it where he'll show up maybe later and he'll say to Clark, like, yeah, I was invading this planet, then there was this white flash, and so I went and turned my armada around, and I went home to realize the planet has exploded, and now I've returned to Earth to finish what I was started 20 years ago to terraform, and then again, it's just Man of Steel all over again. He just wants to terraform Earth and start repopulating Kryptonians.
My man.
So yeah, this I
really
mean
hope
yeah,
that's the
because I
case.
just recently watched it, but this one just was also just in my opinion more memorable.
It was for sure. I do remember when I finished watching the second one, I was like, I did understand why they labeled it part 1 and part 2. Obviously, they
Yeah.
flowed very well within each other. Um,
I mean, shit, we're not even that. This is only the first half of the episode. We're not even.
Yeah, we're not even done yet.
We haven't got to the
So like you said,
part.
oh yeah, it did get confirmed. Yeah, Sam. Yeah, it was in this episode in the flashback. By the way, Waller does call him Sam, so that is confirmation that it is Lois's dad, Sam Lane.
Okay.
So back to what you said about how after Sam realized that Superman seemed genuine in that in his sadness and also his lack of knowledge, he seemed genuinely confused. So he goes back to talk to Waller, who basically is kind of catching on to Lane's second thoughts. And kind of considers like basically kind of sets up the fact that she's going to kind of throw him under the bus here because now she's almost not trusting of him because Sam is more empathetic towards Superman and doesn't necessarily have this like blood vengeance that he was on before.
Yeah, she takes a personal dig at him and she says like, you only want to be compassionate towards him because he reminds you of her. And I would assume
that's the line. Yep, that was.
I would assume he means like who his wife was. That's Lois's mom.
Oh, interesting. I took that more as like a Lois thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. And maybe since maybe they don't talk at all anymore. And that's the whole thing about it.
That's kind of like that's what my kind of that's kind of been my theory. It doesn't seem like I don't know. There's been one time where Lois has been on the phone, I think, in this show where I was like, oh, maybe she's talking to her dad in this conversation. But other than that, it almost seems like they really don't have much of a relationship in this show. At least from, like, I don't know. We haven't really heard the general really talk about his daughter that much, but we also haven't heard Lois talk very much about her father either.
True.
But there was one phone conversation where, and I could be wrong, but it kind of seemed like to me she might have been talking to her dad in that one point where I felt like they were like maybe teasing and setting this up eventually. And it's like finally we got confirmation this episode when Waller called him Sam. So makes sense. But of course, so Task Force X has then been returned to the cells during this time period. We get a glimpse of Livewire, who it's a coin, right? What's she have in her hand? She's twiddling something in her hand, and then she notices that there's like a spark that happens. And she's like, oh, and like looks up. There's like, oh shit. But it seems that Waller on the security cameras caught that.
Yeah.
Because after this whole her not trusting the general, she eventually unlocks that cell a little bit. Or no, she turned the camera
off.
And then Livewire's like, oh, it's on.
Yeah, Livewire's like, oh, yep. Okay, I'm doing this. Yeah. And then Livewire proceeds to break everyone out.
She goes to Ivo first, right? Before she goes, because
I think she does bust Ivo out first. She gets everyone free.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because I remember Punchy Boy coming out as well, but it was definitely Ivo that she goes up. And then Ivo leaves, gets his parasite suit back, and then breaks into where Superman is held. And then the fight between, or what number fight is this? Is this fight 2 or 3 between Parasite and Superman this series?
I think it's
3, right?
I think it's 3. Didn't he fight him in the episode before? Part 1? It's a part of the trap?
Oh yeah, I guess true.
Because doesn't the
So
general have to
it's at
shock?
least 3 then, yeah. So
Because doesn't the general have to shock them with the collars to get them to stop?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's this round 3.
Round 3, fight.
Yeah, because Superman's won once, then Ivo's pseudo won once, so now it's round 3. Got a tie break.
He won in a heel way in like wrestling terms.
Works for me, baby. All
A
right.
W is a W.
Yeah.
So the tiebreaker. Here we go. So they basically Parasite's just beating the shit out of him for the longest time. Just
And Parasite and Ivo / Parasite got warned that he was going insane. And then yeah, so then this fight starts and oh yeah, he's definitely going insane.
oh yeah, he's losing it a little bit. One thing can't believe I forgot to bring this up. When Livewire obviously like broke out, it seems like our theory was correct that this technology would eventually like imbue into some of these people to actually give them their powers naturally without needing the technology anymore. Other than Parasite, obviously, because he's a his suit burn him to a crisp. So
yeah.
But let's see.
Oh. Then Parasite starts sucking off the juice from the facility because Superman won't fight him. So then he just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then I think then like Slade, yeah. The General and Slade like intervene and try to stop all the villains. And in that moment, that's when Clark gets away. I believe.
For a brief second, because I believe Livewire intervenes a little bit.
She does, and she juices Parasite up.
Yep. As well as a facility, and almost it seems to a certain point the whole fucking city.
Yeah. So then Parasite becomes the kaiju. Yeah.
WB loves their kaijus.
Dude, he becomes Gojira. So, it's Godzilla for all of you who don't understand that reference. Oh man.
So we're still going around. Superman's just getting his Parasite finds him again in his weakened state.
Excuse me, shit.
Superman tries to negotiate, saying that he promises to face him one-on-one in exchange for Ivo leaving Metropolis alone, basically leaving the people in the city, all the innocents, out of it. But Parasite don't give a fuck, man. He's a kaiju. He feels like he's won this already. All right, it's over in his eyes. So he continues to attack and absorb the city's powers, but of course, this wouldn't be my adventures with Superman without Jimmy and Lois. So
right.
They come in. They finally try to help Superman. They broadcast on the Flame Bird network, baby. To everyone in Metropolis, Jiminy finally identifies himself as Superman's best friend, and Lois tells the people that right now Superman is defending them and sees the good in people. So this was also really important for Lois's arc because she's been so back and forth between is our Superman or her Superman going to be one of the bad ones or the good ones.
Right.
But in this moment, she has fully put her trust in this Superman and this Clark and is saying that he is the one that truly sees the good in people and wants to save everybody. And then to finish off, Jimmy asked the people to shut the city down, turn the power off, cut Parasite off from his feeding frenzy. And lo and behold, just like Blackest Night.
Yeah.
It's gone. So Parasite slowly grows weaker. Superman develops. I don't know. Shoots the X. Oh no. Yeah, he develops X-ray vision. Sorry, I thought it said
He does.
I was like,
He basically, yeah, this is where like he unlocks his like X-ray vision power because he like has to see through the suit to see where Ivo technically is, which is essentially Ivo's like the heart of the kaiju. It's very attack. It's very Attack on Titan. How he's like spread eagle and like all the muscling is on his arms and his legs and around his head and everything, so he can control it. I was like, well, I know where that's taking inspiration from. So again, we relate this to basically being a Western anime for Superman, and I was like, well, they just took from one of the best animes like Japan has. So yeah. Yeah, he gets the X-ray vision, then he
so he Arc Titan ults through the chess piece.
dude, it's awesome. He thunder crashes the chess piece. He like powers up and he's like thunder, gonna cast thunder crash, and he just boom.
And it was sick as fuck.
Yeah, I'd love it too. I was like, you turned me into a monster, and he's like, it's not the exact, but all I could think of was like an Obi-Wan line, just, you have done that yourself. It's like basically what Clark kind of says to him. He's like, no, you did that to yourself. He's like,
nah, this is your fault.
Yeah, he's like, this is not my fault. So, yeah, stops the Ivo. The kaiju, he kills the kaiju.
The kaiju is down. Superman saves the day once again. Returns to the Daily Planet. Shares a very, very juicy kiss with Lois.
Yes.
After, of course, Jimmy is hanging all over him, telling him he'll never let him go. And, of course, awkwardly feels weird and does the classic anime back.
Yeah.
To let Lois get in there. And then Jimmy grabs Lois's bag and pulls out the little orb to reveal the image of evil Superman from the alternate universe. So, that's going to set up... Oh, man. There's only one more episode. No! I don't know how we're going to end that there. But then back at... after that, it cuts back to Task Force X's base.
Yeah.
Waller informs Sam that their superiors are displeased by his lack of, Superman. Yeah. And so, Waller, did some Waller things and asserted herself to the top, Yeah, and then orders Sam Lane on a mission to basically kill Superman with the Omega Cannon.
Yeah.
And that ends 0 Hour Part 2.
The Omega Cannon.
If it shoots out like this, we know what's going on. I don't know how they harnessed it, but god damn it, they did it.
If it shoots out like just I always love that about that character. It's so fucking unnecessary.
It's so unnecessarily calculated.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean,
it takes account for every multiverse, every timeline, everything. It's exact. It's always going to hit its target.
Right.
Which I'm not going to lie, that's one of the parts I popped hardest in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
But at least
he's down underwater. He's like,
but at least in that though, it made sense because he sort of shot it behind himself.
Oh yeah, true.
Well, like I mean,
do?
like in all the cartoon iterations, it's just like it just unnecessarily will go forward, and then it will just do a stupid zigzag for no fucking reason, and then just hit their target.
All my Rocket League players know. Calculate.
Calculated. Yeah, dude, that goal is calculated.
Always is.
Cool.
All right, so I actually do we give grades for this? Let's combine these. I think we do. So let's just combine these two episodes together as a whole, since it's basically part 1 and part 2. I actually think we have been giving ratings.
I mean, as a whole, I'd probably give it about an 8, just because I feel like the first one, and I don't know. I should probably go back and rewatch it, just because, like, I struggled really remembering what even happened in the first one outside of a couple parts. So that's why I don't want to rate this too high. But the second one truly made up for it. I thought the second half, the part 2, was really, really good.
I think as a whole, 2 together, 8.3. That's kind of where I was at. I'm pretty close to you. While at this current time, it's been the struggle for both of us to remember part 1. I do remember when I started part 2 that I did like how these 2 episodes really did flow together really well. And they both, I just wish they would have released the same week, honestly. I wish they wouldn't have kind of split it up, but I get it at the same time. But it's definitely got me excited for the finale, but very bittersweetly, because I don't want this to end this soon. I miss the old days of anime. 22 episodes. Come on. Not 10.
I mean, I think this one's 10 just because it's Warner Brothers, and 2, it's a Western, Japan, they do 22, 24, and
No. Japan still does 22 episodes plus.
Well, actually,
American
Japan
animation, I'm not going to call it anime, but animation shows, like, especially with the old, look at Justice League, the old Justice League animated shows. They had more than,
they had like 20, 22, 23, 24.
Yeah, 2022.
I will say with
olden days.
I will say with Japan anime, it kind of depends. I think some of them are 24, some of them are some of them are just 12, some of them are 24, some are just 12 though.
That's fair, because Demon Slayer is pretty short, right?
I think Demon
Slayer, like 10 to 13.
As I say, I think Demon Slayer's episodes is only like 12 each.
So yeah, I mean,
on that. God.
You know what? This show has been so great this whole season, at least in my opinion, that, you know what, I would take a shorter great season any day over a longer good or okay season. So, you know what, good on them. They used good work of their 10 episodes.
Yeah, because that longer season, this 24 episode, might have a completely like filler episode or episodes that like really were never even planned from the source, or like in Japanese anime, like they're not even in the source material of the manga. Like it's literally like, this is a filler episode. I mean,
even like the catch up ones too, or is that what you're exactly referring to, is like the catch up episodes?
Yeah, you got an episode where half of it is a catch-up episode of this is what's happened so far. Oh, and here's the...
Hey, we know you've been watching every episode so far, but hey, in case you didn't know, this is what happened.
Yeah, this is what happened.
You're, for once, a first-time watcher.
Yeah. Yeah. I was told that's how I should get into One Piece, is I just need to find all the catch-up episodes and just watch those. Instead of sitting down and watching 1,000 episodes of an anime. God, dude, 1,000.
Maybe I should do that. That's a good ass idea. Holy shit, I've never heard anybody suggest that.
Yeah.
Speaking of One Piece, you gonna watch the live action on Netflix?
Maybe. I've never really...
I'm going to, just because I refuse to watch the anime. It's too long. There's no way. But now that you suggested that, there's hope.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to our mutual, and he even told me, he goes, dude, one of the arcs I'm pretty sure is like 200 episodes. Like, what? That's a whole anime. That's a whole anime for some, like, the like, what?
That's true.
That's
Jesus.
shit. Like, I feel like I'd be watching it, and I'd be like, by the end of that arc, I'd be like, what the fuck were they doing again? Oh yeah, like, again.
Who cares?
Again, that's like why someone was like, "Oh yeah, you should just go watch all the catch-up episodes." And I was like, "Not a bad idea."
Good as that person. I don't even know why I've never thought of that.
Yeah, you probably Google it, and I bet someone's cataloged them.
True. We have Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. What are you? Are you maybe wanting to call it because we're kind of at a 2-hour mark?
It's entirely up to you. The only thing I would say is, once again, I gotta, take a piss break.
Jeez.
But I'm down to talk about it. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
I mean, when Bull comes back, he can just give his general impressions of 1 through 3.
Yeah, he can, but I feel like he's gonna like want to really go out on about it. But
I mean, he can. I mean, what are we gonna have next week? Well, I mean, pretty much the end's gonna be next week. All we're gonna have, I mean, it's basically gonna be the same thing, but we'll only have one episode of each. We'll have the finale of My Adventures, and then we'll have the next episode of Harley Quinn. But other than that, we're not
I guess that's true. So yeah, I'm down to talk about him if you want.
All right. Well, I will be right back.
All right. So, all right, Ahsoka. God, awesome. Just, oh my God, Jordan. Like the moment it starts, and like finally back to just an opening credit crawl. Like, not long, fine. But an opening credit crawl, I sat on my couch and I was like, this is Star Wars! Yes! Like, I was like, it's words floating through space. And I'm sitting here like, fuck yeah! And, like, so hyped from the get-go on it.
So, to comment on that, I will say it was nice for even me as the casual of the group. It was nice to finally get a text crawl. It threw me off that it was in red, but then I found out that that's what he did in Rebels too. That usually the text crawl was in red, or was it in Clone Wars?
It was in the 7th season of Clone Wars. He did it in red as well.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
So then I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's really cool then. So I was wondering how you would feel about that, as you and Bull as well, but we'll figure it. We'll
well, dude, even in like, so when they finally came all the way back and they did a 7th season of Clone Wars, like it's like the last 4 episodes of it take place during Revenge of the Sith. And the very first episode, so the first episode of the 4 in that span, like the beginning, he starts it off like the movies, and it just the boom, like, and the and then the letters are fading back as Star Wars, and it says Star Wars, and then it comes up in red. It's like the Clone Wars, and yeah. So the red that's the Filoni touch. He uses red. So yeah, it's weird because you're used to the yellow and whatnot, but God, dude, just yes.
I mean, I hate yellow as a color. Just don't like it. So when the red popped up, I was like, ooh.
Okay, all those All Mights behind you got very offended.
So I don't mind blonde hair or yellow hair in anime. All right.
Well, you can have
Super
yellow
Saiyans.
hair.
Come on. We love Super Saiyans in this house and your house, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Oh, you got All Might there though. I see him.
Signed by the guy. Signed by the guy.
The legend himself, aka also the man who voices Vegeta. My boy.
Yeah, I was very tempted to buy either Vegito Pops or like a big
Barely see him. Right there.
like
Oh,
yeah.
God too.
Yeah, that was like the specific pop that I about bought to have him. I was gonna maybe go back to him because he was there for 3 days and then he ended up being there Sunday, the day you were supposed to be there. I was gonna text you because I walked up and like people were lining up and I was like, wait, is he coming back? And the people working the event were like, he's coming back. They made a last minute decision that he would come back for a 4th day. And I sat there and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, good God, he's probably made so much fucking money at this thing just signing shit. And I mean, his line was constantly filled. But yeah, I kept thinking like a lot of vendors have that same Vegeta that you have, that Super Saiyan God, that Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
But was their hair metallic? Because
Oh,
my
you have the
boy's
metallic
got the
one.
metallic hair.
Oh, you have the metallic one?
Oh yeah, dog.
Yeah, so vendors had the metallic one and they were charging like $50 for it. And then some of the vendors would go get that one signed and then they'd slap a $300 price tag on it. So if you were there,
I missed out.
yeah, you missed out on making that thing way more valuable. Um, oh, dude, real quick, I don't know if you're like aware of these. The plastic
Oh yeah.
coverings. Do you
How
buy
much do
these?
those cost? No, I
They're
don't.
they're
Are they
not
cheap though?
expensive. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you buy them in bulk. I think I got a pack of. Let me look at what I bought, real quick. But in any case, I know that we have horribly derailed from Ahsoka. Um, do what?
I was like, sorry guys.
Yeah, sorry guys.
But our other passion is pops.
Yeah, that's true.
My future new passion. Actual statues and figures.
What the fuck?
My boy Bakugo. Right there that I just got 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. This Wonder Woman statue. Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman.
It was $19 for a pack of 25 of them.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah,
I
not
probably
bad.
should get some. Especially
Huh?
for, yeah, I probably should get some of those.
I would just because obviously as you leave them just out, like your box over time might start to like the cardboard might just start to kind of decay a little and whatnot and or like my Lucy Heartfilia that got torn out of God knows when and how that happened. And thankfully there was one there at that convention for me to buy. And the people selling her were not charging an arm and a leg because I don't think they cared about how rare she actually is. But yeah, I mean they're not bad to buy. Now when you
I'm
have
gonna
like
go
the
look into those.
extended
I'm sure they
set
have
box,
different sizes too, right? Maybe
I
no.
don't know. I need to
We'll
look
see
into
how
that.
this goes. Oh boy. Got the big old Larry Bird up
Yeah,
there,
I think they do have ones
oh yeah,
for that
the
one.
Vegeta right there. That's a new figurine as well. Like
Word.
my boy suits in Doomsday. Yeah, so like
So that
Doomsday probably should need a box because he's like an exclusive event boy. Yeah, don't judge me for taking all these out of the box.
hey, that was before we knew what they were
That's
gonna.
before. Well, it's also that, and like honestly, if I'm being real, I'm never selling them. So, but the Doomsday maybe. But
I
Henry
don't
Cavill
know.
Superman right there, that ain't being sold. Ben Affleck Batman, which you can probably barely see, that ain't getting sold. And Gal Gadot, that one's not being.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I have.
Grogu moved. He used to be up there. So shout out Jason Tatum with the buzzer beater. But Grogu moved. He's no longer up top. He's petting the Squishmallow there and Cinequil. So that's why he's not up top.
Fucking Squishmallows.
I went to bring him
now.
so just in case we recorded this week, but I was like, oh, yo, nice. Oh, yo, you got the lasso. Mine's got the shield on it.
And she got the shield on the back. I took her out.
Yo, word?
Yeah, I took her out for, I don't remember why. She sits up on my computer desk with me. Her and the two Spider-Men. But yeah, but to answer your question, yes, I do know they have different sizes, especially for that extra large boy that you got up there, which who was that, by the way?
Larry Bird, Larry Legend.
Yeah, okay.
USA uniform. He doesn't have the stash though. That's the only sad thing about it, but it's still a fucking sick ass pop. Shelf over there too. Got the Linkin Park hybrid theory. Got some Warcraft boys over there. That's where my Star Wars pops are too, because I don't have very many. But yeah. Also the red shirt tiger. Shout out.
Shout out.
Because obviously I'm a Panthers fan. So.
They definitely have different. They definitely have those different sizes. I will say I don't know if they have like I have that 3-pack of the Force Ghosts. I don't know that they have a plastic for those, which kind of sucks, but is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my shit is like that entire top row is all the EVs and the evolutions with the.
Oh my god. It is.
Yeah, so
there's so much glare. Oh, there we go.
Well, yeah, it's
yeah, there we go.
There
we go. You can see it right now. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. As an EV lover myself,
and that's the I don't know if
props.
is there glare still on this?
Nope, not anymore. No, you can see it perfect right now. That's beautiful.
That I got from a convention that was here in town. I saw that and was like, well, I got to immediately buy that. There's my Infinity Gauntlet.
Hell yeah. Did you end up getting the Lego helmet that you sent us in the chat?
Yeah, I still need to build it.
Holy shit, you can move it?
Yeah, you can move the fingers.
Can you snap it and make half...
Huh?
Can you snap it and make half the population disappear, or is that not a thing? Do you not have the actual... Are you Thanos or not? I need to know if that has actual powers.
Unfortunately, I'm not Thanos.
Okay. Thank God we don't have to worry.
If the thumb comes out too.
Oh, yo. Whoa,
yeah.
KP. Like we can't see you. Oh, okay. Thought you were gonna flip off everybody.
I kind of did there for a second.
You basically did, but it was not aggressive,
Yeah. Yeah. I took some stuff down, like my Star Wars. I took my Star Wars stuff down because I need to realign it. But yeah. Dude, shit. Sorry. This girl was apparently exclusive to that convention, or she was exclusive to Fan Expo conventions. So okay. Yeah, it's for when she makes this. It's from when in the movie she makes the suit, the neon colors.
Mm-hmm.
So like on the back, like she wasn't really a part of the releases, so she's special. And then the Pikachu down there is a diamond, so he's a sparkly guy.
Oh, sparkly boy.
Yeah. And then I got the guy who voices English Todoroki, and then Bo for, or Katie Sackhoff for Bo. Oh, and then, dude, this is the other Batman print I'm waiting on getting a frame for.
Dude, that's sick.
This artist, this is the same artist that did that Captain Marvel.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I'll give you the guy's name. His artwork is absolutely sick. Just sick. Anyways, now that we've toured the audience our home offices of nerdom,
It's okay. We can cut the first part of this Ahsoka review, and we're just going to start now. Ahsoka, you start over. It was everything you wanted and more. Go ahead, start.
everything I
right
wanted and
now.
more. Ahsoka, everything I wanted and more. Just love how the beginning is that she's on just some random as shit planet, and she's going through an old temple, because and this is where some people have kind of dogged on this. It's because it is kind of funny that so randomly this old, and I think it was a Night Sisters temple, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself there. But at first, like, to me, she's in this temple that kind of reminded you of the old temples from the Fallen Order game, right? Like how
I've heard that.
Yeah, like how you explore. Have you ever played those games?
No, but but watching breakdown videos, there was a lot of people that equated it to what you're about to allude to here.
Yeah, it's essentially like an old temple that's just like those temples that you explore in the video game to find out all these old secrets, like from the old civilizations that used to basically start dabbling into the Force. So she basically gets a map revealed, or that she knows it's a map because the Elsbeth character told her that that's where it was at. Oh shit, dude. No. Oh my god. Skipped over the entire beginning where they actually from the get-go in the beginning there's the Republic ship is transporting Elsbeth to probably Coruscant or something to throw her in prison.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, and then the two Jedi want to board the ship, and so the guy's like, well, I'll entertain them. And then they get there, and he's like, I know you're not really Jedi, and well, unfortunately for him, and I loved it too, how Stevenson's character, Balin, right?
Yep. Balin Skull.
Is it Balin Skull?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I love how he's like, he just makes the cool comment, just, you were right about one thing, we're not Jedi. And he like, she starts killing people, and then he's just like using the Force to overtake the dude's body, and the guy's like, what is going on? Oh man. And like
Dude.
he's just super powerful. Like he is barely like, he's just like, oh yeah.
Dude, his Ray Stevenson's, rest in peace, which
yeah.
Getting a little ahead, but like no spoilers, but at the end of the episode, I love how they dedicated it to Ray. Like, thank you to our friend Ray.
Yeah.
Got in my feels when it when it ended, because he was a tremendous actor, and his presence in this show is definitely felt. Like,
it's cool. I like it a lot.
I love how
I just love
he shows this like dark aspect obviously to him, but at the same time it's not like a full like Sith like evil. Like, there's still like some empathy to his character, which we can get to later, but there's some layers to him, his character.
There definitely is.
Like, just damn, it's so sad. Like it's going to be really, really kind of devastating, especially if they wanted to take this character like going forward, like to further seasons. Like, that's really when it's going to like really, really hurt, just because of just how great Just he's portrayed Balin so far, even these 2 episodes that we've watched. But yeah, like you said, he's beating ass, taking names.
Yeah, like when he's walking down, it's like the hallway scene.
Yep.
It's like they made it just like Vader from Rogue One, and he's just like, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, that's just so amazing. I don't even care. I was like,
so badass.
Yeah, just so badass. And then busts out Morgan, and she's like, I think she even says to him, like, who are you really? And he's like, let's just say I'm someone hired by someone else to get you out of here. And, it's all this for the Empire shit. And so then they get out of there. And then I think when they basically then, I think after like they essentially escape is when it cuts to where Ahsoka is, correct?
Yeah, because so they missed a invincible moment because he was like, Balin asked like who they're looking for, and she was like, this Jedi, Ahsoka, when they could have literally just like, who are we looking for? They could have cut to just do the invincible title screen. But yeah. She's like, Ahsoka Tano, and then it cuts to the I can't remember the music. I almost did the Mando.
I can't remember the specific music either, but no. So, then it cuts to Ahsoka just at that temple. So she gets the map, and then when she gets out, all these like assassination droids, if you will, kind of show up. They're kind of like the droids that Grievous had around him in Revenge of the Sith. Like they got the little like double-sided
electro
staffs, and she essentially like I loved how she like backs up and goes back down into the hole, and then she starts like coming up through the ground
reverse
and like chopping them down and getting them underneath. And oh yeah,
I will say like first off, the sound effects there very satisfying, but 2, overall in these first 2 episodes, the music for the score has been. There was one musical choice that threw me off for a minute, but it makes sense in the grand scheme of the character. But overall, the music and score in this show, I think, has been like top tier. Like I've loved the music in this show.
I know what part you're talking about, and it threw me off too.
But it's not the first time. There's been plenty of songs in the Star Wars universe and certain points that just have thrown me for a loop.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, it kind of makes sense, like in a way. Like there would be different types of music without through this galaxy. So at the end of the day, it makes sense. But it just doesn't. This one kind of like took me out of my. I don't know. It just kind of took me out of it in a way. It just kind of reminded me of like real life rather than being in this galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And again, and honestly, we can get there, but and I'll have my comments on it, but yeah, I like how like so the droid is basically armed with like a warhead that's so powerful that I love how when it's exploding and she's like hauling ass to run away and tells her ship pilot, who like you don't know yet, but is a droid. She's like, don't land, just keep flying. And he's like, what? And she's like, just don't land. And then, jumps up and the narrow escape for the dramatic effect. And I was like, oh, so into it. And then like she gets in the essentially the cockpit with the droid, and the droid's like, I was watching from afar up in, just like you told me to. And she's like all the way up in the orbit of the planet. She's like, you could have been a lot closer. And he's like, well, I don't know. I was just like taking precaution or something in case anyone showed up. And yeah.
So he also alluded that he kind of like alluded to the fact of like, well, that's the job of a Padawan.
Well, she said you're
like to watch her back. Like
she's like, I kind of wanted you closer to watch my back, and he's like, that's the job of a Padawan learner or something, and she's just like, okay, like, damn, you got me.
You got me, Beach.
Yeah. So, and then so they go back to like, basically they go back to like try to meet up with the Republic ship that's supposed to have Elsbeth, but then realize there's other like New Republic. There's another New Republic ship that's there that's checking out the damage and everything, right? Because that ship was trashed. Yeah. So then she gets back, and then we get a Rebels character. Yes! Hera Syndulla! Yes! Fuck yeah. Man. It's so satisfying. Just, I know that character. It's so satisfying.
Santa!
Yeah.
I know him!
I know Hera, I know her. Yeah, yes, dude. And like, to the fact too, they're just like General Syndulla. I was like, yes, because like she was made the general. Like, that happens during Rebels. Yeah, you had to be there. So, oh God, shit, losing my train of thought and how hyped this is. Well, okay. So this was one part that I kind of was like, questionable dialogue, especially since this is all coming from the same creative genius that is the prodigal child that George Lucas never birthed, or had.
Oh, needs to go.
Yeah, whatever, created. They get to the security holocam footage, and she just says to Ahsoka, yeah, it was done by two people that seem to have abilities that reflect your own. And I'm just like sitting there at that dialogue, and I'm like, Hera, you have a child with a dead Jedi. Like, they're called Jedi. Call them Jedi, or like use,
or at least say use the Force or something.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Or say like they can use the Force. Like, from Rebels, like, she knows exactly what it is, and for them to choose like that dialogue with it, I'm like, okay, did they maybe film this way ahead of time and they were still flirting with the idea that maybe Rebels wasn't canon? I don't know. And again, that's a very, very small thing for me to nitpick, but I'm the diehard. And to me, it's just like, no, you should have wrote that line better. Like, that to me kind of says, it's almost like you're saying that Hera doesn't fully understand what Jedi are, even though she does, because for 4 years she ran around with two of them doing missions. So,
I'm not like, obviously, I haven't watched Rebels or Clone Wars all the way through. I've seen a lot of Clone Wars episodes sporadically, but like, I don't think I've seen any episodes of Rebels. But even from the sense of what I've gotten from you guys, like, she should be like, yeah, that line doesn't make sense to me, because
that line didn't make sense.
Has a kid with Ezra.
No, with Kanan.
Oh, with Kanan.
So yeah.
I got
Ezra.
So Kanan's Ezra's master then, right?
Yes.
Okay, I got that mixed up then. Okay,
and he
dies. Either way,
he dies protecting all of them.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I knew I knew Canon. I knew he was. When did he? That was toward the ends of Rebels, right? Was that shortly before Ezra took Thrawn with him out? Right. Out.
It's a while before that. There's like a lot of episodes even after that. But yeah, it's before that. Yeah, it's before Ezra it's before Ezra and Thrawn get taken way out to,
who knows? Maybe a galaxy far away.
I had to explain even that a little, but again, we'll get there. Shit. So, yeah, essentially, I just didn't like that line. I just kind of felt like, well, that kind of makes it feel like Hera doesn't fully understand what they are, but she does know what all of them are.
She should, yeah.
And maybe I'm just being, again, I'm just being super picky. It's just, I just personally did not like the voice line, but I could also be reading too much into it. Maybe it's really not supposed to be taken as how I'm taking it, but anyways, essentially Hera kind of talks Ahsoka into going and maybe, from the sounds of it, re-recruiting a Padawan.
How you feel about that?
And then I think after that, does it cut real quick to what Balin, Morgan, and the young Sith apprentice, apprentice, I can't say Sith because I don't know that they're really Sith, but the young apprentice, does it cut to them first before it goes to Lothal? I think it does. No.
I'm gonna
yes.
Just either way.
No, it does. It does. I think it does cut to them. I should have took notes. I really should have took notes, and I won't lie that, hell, I'll be honest with you, man. I watched them right 1 and 2. Oh no, I remember now. No. I remember now where 1 ends. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because that's the controversy that's going on right now. Anyways,
oh, I definitely remember where 1 ends.
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. Of course you do, because that's where the controversy is coming from. So it cuts to, they're on the planet with the temple and it's blown up. And I did not see this coming, and I personally love it when the girl asks Elsbeth, like, well, how do you know that she was here and she took it? And she's like, she basically is like, I can feel it, and alludes to saying, like, she's like, I come from, she's like, you're sensitive to the Force or something, is what the young girl asks her. And I loved it. I did not see this coming. That then Elsbeth is just like, yes, I was taught on how to tap into it from my home planet of Dathomir. And when she said that, I was like, no. And I love it too. And the girl just goes, you're a witch. And she's just like, I'm a sister, like a night. Like, I don't know if
sister.
Yeah. She did specifically say night sister. I couldn't remember if she specifically said
like it basically it confirmed. Yeah, it confirmed that she was basically one of the witches from Dathomir. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I was just like, I sat there and was like, did not see that coming, but absolutely love it. But, yeah.
I'll say that's where Maul's from, right? That's his planet, right? Dathomir.
Correct.
Yeah.
A lot of the Dathomir had a lot of Zabraks on it.
Yeah, but I just I don't know, for some reason when I heard that I popped, and for Your reason was completely different than mine, but for mine, like I ended up like looking into it more, but like I forgot to look about the mall thing, but yeah, about the whole nice sister and witches thing. Learned that was from like the Rebel stuff too. That's kind of what I looked into, but Dathomir sounded familiar. I couldn't remember
Clone
if
Wars
that was where Maul was from or not.
Well, really, no. The Night Witches. Excuse me. A lot of that's in Clone Wars. They do go there in Rebels, but they're not there. They're only there for like an episode or two. That's actually
yeah. I was about to say it's one of the two.
a background into it real quick. They go there in Rebels because they know that Maul is looking for Obi-Wan. So they somehow find out that he's basically has been stowing away on Dathomir for all this time, for like the past decade or the past decade. And when they're there, that's when Sabine actually finds the Darksaber and steals it back from Maul.
Oh, okay.
Which then she later gives to Bo.
Yeah.
Down the road, when Mandalore, basically Bo-Katan and all the Mandalorians come calling because Gar Saxon, who's also a Mandalorian, but he's with the Empire.
They are lost.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. My boy. Yeah. So, anyways, back to Ahsoka. And then when we finally get to Lothal, the next scene, I mean, okay. And like I kind of alluded about Ashley Eckstein, it was kind of more of a, oh, so also this character, Clancy Brown, steps in as the character that he voiced in the show as the, like, basically the regent for Lothal. The specific name of the character I'm going to look up right now. It's escaping my brain.
While you look that up, I'm just gonna praise Clancy Brown because he's amazing. He's Mr. Krabs. Money. He also does a lot because Clancy Brown is amazing. He's done so much fucking shit. I feel bad for even just diminishing him down to Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs is amazing.
That's right. Ryder Azadi. I forgot. Yeah, Ryder Azadi is the character name. But I began when I saw Clancy Brown, his big ass just on screen, I knew immediately. I was like, I sat there and just visible happiness. That meme just, you know.
What's funny is I was just sitting there happy just to see Clancy Brown, and then when I like learned that he actually voiced that character in the animation, and then saw the picture of his character in animation to him in live action, I was like, that's so fucking cool, dude. Like,
exactly,
fucking cool,
so fucking cool. Same with Bo, like how they have Katie look exactly like her, and it's just like, it's so fucking cool, dude. Like, oh my god, I don't care if you gotta like CGI de-age him. If you can get Kanan as a Force ghost and like you just de-age and CGI the shit out of Freddie Prinze Jr. Like, so fucking cool. Like, I doubt they're gonna actually do that. But yes, Freddie Prinze Jr. voices Kanan. And if you, yeah, and did you know too that he's actually in, like, he's talking in Rise of Skywalker. He's one of the voices that speaks to Rey.
No, I didn't know that at all, actually.
Yeah, so that's him as Kanan, as the voice. Like, that's why that moment is so, like, fan service heavy, and, like, people like Bull and I are just like, okay, like, fucking bravo. And Ashley Eckstein is actually voicing Ahsoka in that moment as well.
Really?
Yeah. So the Jedi that talk to Rey are Luke, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Kanan, Ahsoka, Mace, maybe Kili Mundiali, whatever dude that gets real shot up. And Yoda, obviously. I believe Yoda talks to her.
Big Daddy Palps, obviously.
He talks shit to her. Yeah. I believe that's it. That's just the funniest part about that moment. It's like, unless if you didn't watch Clone Wars or Rebels, half those voices you were sitting there like, who the fuck are those people? You know. Anyways, back to Ahsoka. But yes, I love too that. So they're having a ceremony, and Sabine's nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Tells the senator, "Well, you entertain these people and find her." And then she's on a speeder bike, and that's kind of where we get into a musical choice that, yeah, I didn't really see coming, but the character is very rebellious. Like, she graffitis shit. She's an artist. She's like a Mandalorian weapons genius. At least in Rebels. And she's always been one that's kind of been like, she's a rule breaker, and she just doesn't listen to what other people. She's very stubborn, as they allude to. She doesn't listen to a lot of like what people tell her to do. So the musical choice, I was like, well, like you said, it did. I will admit, I felt the same. I as soon as, like, because it's like it's kind of like a punk rock guitar riff. And I too, like you, kind of for a moment there, I was like, kind of brought back into like real reality and forget that I'm supposed to be in a space opera right now that's a galaxy far, far away. And so you're not alone there, man. I definitely like had that same exact feeling. I was kind of like, that's kind of out of left field and weird, but I'll ignore it.
Yeah, that's kind of ultimately what I did, because it's not the first song in a Star Wars property to make me feel that way. They're just, I mean, but it makes sense. Like,
it makes sense for her character.
It may for her, yeah. I know she's like a really rebellious character, and but it's just like the whole sound of the song. It just feels very. I've heard this before, like in everyday-ish type of life in a way, but no, not everyday-ish. That's a little overboard. But it feels like something that I would hear,
like off the radio.
Movie. Yeah, it just feels like something I would hear. But it's not a big deal at the end.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Like, just like the other songs that kind of took me out of it and didn't feel like, not that it matters to me. I'm not George Lucas or Dave Filoni or fucking Disney or LucasArts. It just didn't feel very Star Wars to me in the way it sounded. But there's been other songs, like I've said, felt that way as well. Doesn't matter in the long run.
Yeah.
At the end, maybe I'll like it in like 2 years. Maybe I'll be like, yeah, fuck you. I like this song. It's like there's the other song that I kind of hate. It's like, I don't even know if I can even do it justice, honestly. Where it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's just,
I know. Okay, I was sitting there. I'm like, I know now exactly. Yes.
And at the moment in the movie that it hits to you, I'm just like, this doesn't feel, but who cares?
Hey, dude, it's the pals, baby. Got that erotic music going, and that sexy Twi'lek dancer. Dude, which, okay, in the original 1983 cut of that movie is PG. This is Star Wars. In the original 1983 cut of that movie, you can see that actress's nipples through the bra because she's only wearing a fishnet. I think by now they've went back and they've edited it to where you don't see that. But in the very
I would imagine, holy shit.
But yeah, go deep dive on the internet. There's nudity in Star Wars, bro. The original 1983 cut had a fucking basically topless chick at that part. With also a different song playing, because that's the thing, is that song you're talking about got added when they did the re-edits during the 90s. And then they came back out with Star Wars, and my dad was like, "This is not fucking Star Wars." Okay, no, he didn't really say that, but he was like, the 90s edits my dad was very upset by. It's like, well, yeah, and then we got the late 2000s edits where they...
I'd say that just more edits came, and it got worse.
Just you thought that was bad? We're going to add that really cheesy no into episode 6, and we're going to remove the fucking actor that played original Anakin and just slap in Hayden Christensen, because why the fuck not? So anyways, god damn it. I need to stop with tangents. This is the problem when I talk about Star Wars, is I just go on grabbing from everywhere, all these tangents.
The people need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're super casual, which you are our target audience, really. I mean, that's the whole point that you're hopefully listening to this. So, or you're a diehard that just would maybe want to just argue with us one day, which we'd love, but well, I would love, but
just knows that somebody feels the same way that you do.
That's the most important. Just preach, Kevin.
Preach, KP. Come on.
Okay. Shit.
Where'd we leave off though? Back to the Ahsoka.
Well, Sabine basically goes back to what's actually Ezra's home. That's where Sabine is living, is actually where Ezra lived with his parents, but then he became an orphan, and that's where Ezra had lived his whole life. So then she plays, she's getting in her feelings, and she kind of misses old boy, and she plays the holocron. I saw a meme about this, and I will admit I actually felt this way, but when he's giving her the speech about being a Jedi, but he makes that comment of like, Sabine, you're like a sister to me. Like me, and I think a lot of Rebels fans probably went like, what? No, you're supposed to be a ship. You're a ship that's together. Like, that's what I thought this always was. I don't hate the whole, because Rebels is kind of about how it's these 5 people that they formed their own family. I don't hate the comment. I will just say it kind of always felt like, though, in Rebels, I thought that he was always kind of chasing that tail. So the whole "you're like a sister" comment, that I was like, well, that's kind of, I don't know, whatever, but it is what it is at this point. Kind of odd. I was thrown off by it because I thought they were definitely supposed to be like maybe a more closer relationship than that, but I guess possibly not. Sorry. Oh. Is there a limit on how long this can record? That's weird. It didn't stop.
Oh.
No, it's what?
Oh yeah, there is a time limit. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. It still says you're recording. Hang on.
Just ticking up.
Huh? No, yeah, it's 24 hours is the maximum you can go. So that was weird. I heard the message notification in my chat, and it just said that like you sent the video, but it was just weird because it's like, I mean, it's still ticking up, so I think we're okay. Anyways, the hollow recording, that's the only thing that threw me off by it, but it is kind of cool because it's basically Sabine trying to kind of understand the lifestyle of like what really was at one point a Mandalorian's mortal enemy.
Yeah. The Jedi.
That's why in the Mandalorian show, when he meets Ahsoka and just a Jedi and a Mandalorian, they'll never see it coming. Well, when you're me and you've watched the Filoni's creations, it's like, oh man, I know where this is going. This is gonna be hot. Like, because I've seen this already, like umpteen times. But oh gosh. So I can't exactly remember what compels Sabine to actually go back into Lothal, but she does. I think I think she gets a call from maybe Ryder to tell her like, or she gets a call from someone that they're like, hey, you need to come back here. You're gonna want to like speak to this person. It might be she might get the call from Hera.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't exactly remember what gets her to go back. So then she goes back. I think we cut back to Balin and Elsbeth and the girl, and they're now on the new planet that's got the device that's going to be able to read the map. And then Elsbeth tells Balin, send the girl to Lothal. That's where the map is at to retrieve it. So then the girl goes. We cut back to Lothal. I believe we cut back to Lothal. I could have this a little mixed up. So for the audience out there, if you have caught that, that's my bad. But we go back to Lothal. Sabine shows up, and Ahsoka's there with Ryder. And is Hera with Ahsoka? Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Are
Right.
are they both? Are they both there?
Or no. Wait. Hold on.
No.
I know at one point in the episode, Hera is like hologrammed in, but that's at the.
I also
No, that's later. That's with the diffusion. So I don't know. Maybe she is with him at this point.
I think I might have also skipped out on the part where Ahsoka and Hera go to Corellia. No. I think that's in the second episode. God, shit, I should have rewatched them.
Yeah, at this point, it's almost been a week since it's come out.
Yeah, I know. I'm hazy here. I think I think Hera and Ahsoka are there on Lothal. Shit. I'm trying to look. No, wait. No. I don't think she is. I think the entire time on Lothal, Hera is not there, but I think Hera's there as a hologram. I believe, if I'm memory serves me right, she's a hologram. Ryder goes over to Sabine and he says to Sabine, he's like, "You're gonna want to hear what she has to say." And then I think, and Hera says a couple things to Sabine. And then finally, when she starts talking to Ahsoka, Ahsoka's like, "Yeah, I got this map. It leads to Thrawn and Ezra." Basically. But then Ahsoka alludes that she's like, I can't crack it open. So I was kind of hoping you would be able to do it. And Sabine is like, "Yeah, I can do it, but I need to take it with me." And Ahsoka really doesn't want her to take it anywhere. And so then Ahsoka gets a call from, I believe, Hera, and leaves Sabine in the room after asking her, like, "Don't leave with the map. Like, please stay here." And stupidly leaves Sabine alone, only for, of course, Sabine's going to disobey her. So then Ahsoka talks to Hera, and Hera's like, "Yeah, you kind of got to be patient and whatnot." And I think Hera tells Ahsoka, I think that's how they figure out that they've somehow tracked like Morgan's footprints back to like Corellia, I believe. They at least have that figured out. And then Sabine took the map. Sabine goes back to her little home. She does crack the code on the map, but as soon as she does so, and then the star chart gets revealed to her, which it was very funny how that got revealed to her, and then she walks outside with like a wand telescope, like she's looking for it. And I was like, that's a little hokey. Like, yeah, she just knows exactly where to look. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah.
She's the one.
She is the one. No, he's dead, Jordan. And he's with the Force. But no.
Maul or Qui-Gon?
Huh?
Which one?
Anakin.
Maul or Qui-Gon? I don't give a fuck about Anakin.
I care about this guy that's only been in one movie in like 5 seconds of an episode.
Both of them.
Some reason.
Maul and Qui-Gon, they've only been in one movie. My favorite.
The fans love me.
And it's not even that great of a movie. What's wrong with me?
Yeah. The fans love me, and not even for this movie. It's for everything else I've ever done in my career. It's like the fans love me for Batman Begins, which hasn't even been made yet. Anyways, god damn it. So Sabine just basically gets ambushed by the droids. Then she's got Ezra's lightsaber, and she's trying to make her escape. And then the young girl is like, "Yeah, I'm taking this map." And so Sabine is just like, boom, ignites lightsaber.
And the hotness starts.
And then the hotness starts. But it's poor Sabine, who does not even know how to wield the Force, and it can barely wield this lightsaber, is getting her ass beat. And then controversy. She gets stabbed. Here. Yeah. Right below, right in the rib cage. Right in the
here.
Yeah, stabbed right in the.
Not right here, man.
Yeah.
Not right here, man. Not right here. Right here, man.
It's stabbed right here.
Yeah.
In the rib cage.
Right there, man. Right there, man.
Roll credits. I believe, right? That is where it ends. The first one.
Yeah, no, it's 100% where it ends. And I sat there, I was like, "Bitch, I saw the trailers. She hasn't
Right.
cut her hair yet.
Exactly. Like, you knew. It's like, oh, so you knew exactly.
For me, that's the reason I don't like it. It's just because it's meant to be a cliffhanger, but it's not. If you've seen a trailer to this season, it's like when it happens, you're like, oh, she's back. She hasn't cut her fucking hair yet.
Right.
That's why I don't know.
Remember though too. Well, still though, they already had the trailer, so yeah, that's just kind of right. I guess if they probably should have never put it in the trailer that she cut her hair.
No,
but
they
I think
never should have done that.
But I think they had to because everyone was pissed off that the first trailer didn't show that, and she had all this long hair, and everyone was like, that's not the character. What is this? And like, this is bullshit. Disney's fucking this up. So then to save face, they show her cut her hair, and now it's ruined this cliffhanger. So Disney.
So what you're saying is Disney pulled the WB, it knee-jerk reacted.
Shit. Yes. They did. They totally did.
Shit.
They 100% meant on this cliffhanger, they 100% meant to never show you that she was going to cut her hair. So then that way, and they were going to only air this one episode originally. So that way for a week, we were going to be sitting here like, oh my God, I thought Sabine was going to be in this show and they fucking killed her. Which now that's all thrown out the window. And now, yeah, we know, well, she definitely lives. So you only die by getting stabbed through the front at all if you're Qui-Gon Jinn, by the way. BT dubs, you can only die if you're Qui-Gon Jinn that way. If you're literally any other character, you're safe because at this point, Disney has bought the rights to Star Wars and you can't fucking die by getting stabbed. It's like head has to come off for you to die. You're like, that's the only way. Or if you're just a nameless stormtrooper, you get cut here, dead.
I can't lie. Part of me wants to feel the same way because Qui-Gon's my boy.
I'm just saying, like, I don't.
But Darth Maul's also my boy, and he got cut in half.
But he came back. He came back.
Why didn't Qui-Gon? Yes. This is more of an issue of why didn't Qui-Gon come back more than why has everybody else come back?
Qui-Gon's just a Force ghost sitting there like, what the fuck, man? Force healing? We had this? What the shit?
Maybe the thinking is just Qui-Gon was just like, you know what? I can have more influence as a ghost than being... No, that's just... Fuck it. I tried.
Well, that's what they're going to tell you whenever you question, okay...
That's what I would do if I was them.
It's like, it's like Obi-Wan says, if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. So the one guy kind of wrote all that stuff. And then when he got rid of his properties, or at least started letting other creative forces, all those other creative forces, and even my guy, who I fucking love now, even he was like, yeah, that whole dying by being stabbed, no, we don't die by being stabbed by lightsabers. We don't die by being cut in half by lightsabers. You have to sever head from neck in order to die from lightsaber wound. Yeah, apparently that's the case here. Shit. Yeah, so next episode right away. Sabine is getting healed.
If you don't mind, I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. You can go ahead, continue with the episode. I don't want another break. But yeah.
Okay. So.
Also, but I will be listening. Okay. I'll hear you.
Oh, good. So Sabine is getting healed. She wants to go with Ahsoka to Corellia. Ahsoka tells her no. They basically have that argument. So then Ahsoka basically leaves Lothal and goes to meet with Hera. So then the two of them can go off to Corellia. Oh man, excuse me. Damn it, he went to get water. Now I want to go get water. Oh shit. See, this is the shorter episode. So we cut back, I believe, to Elsbeth and Balin, who get greeted by the apprentice. The apprentice gives Morgan the map, to which then Elsbeth takes and expands the map in this device on the planet that they're in, which is, again, it's more just star charting. And I believe, let's see, the map is really interesting because it kind of seems like it alluded to the fact that they are in their galaxy, and when it star charts to where Thrawn is, it's a whole nother galaxy that's out.
That's the impression I got.
And the reason that is most likely what it is that, as we've heard many times, Bull will most likely back this theory up when he comes back, and he will say, because he's read those books, and the whole idea behind the Timothy Zahn Thrawn books is that Thrawn is from the Chiss, and they're a race that basically hangs out on the edge of the galaxy that we're all currently in. And they have known about other aliens, like unknown alien races that are, I think, what this is going to allude to is going to be from these other galaxies that are threats to our galaxy that we have of the Star Wars. So Thrawn is being exiled out in one of those galaxies, and presumably Ezra is with him.
And I think potentially one of those threats that you're alluding to, I think Bull has also alluded to in the past, if I'm not mistaken, correct? At least a certain race that is
yes,
dark force sensitive, I will say. Not even sensitive, just
no. He says the force doesn't even like work on them, is what it is.
Well, yeah, that is one of them. Yeah, I forgot about that one too. Yeah. Yeah, never mind. I don't want to potentially spoil anything for the future, but I do feel like Bull has alluded to these potential future players in the game that could enter the frame.
Well, and I think they're going to, and the thing is too, is that it was always reported that Filoni did some consulting with Timothy Zahn on Zahn's books. So that's why I'm pretty sure that's the direction this is all going.
It would make sense for sure. It definitely, it'll be really interesting next week when we actually get to sit down with Bull too, because like you said, he's actually read the book, so it'll be interesting to see what his impression of is. Well, we'll have 3 episodes by then, but
like with Thrawn, I think they're going to really play it off where, yeah, he's not fully a good guy, but he's going to be a player that's like, I'm also not fully bad because I'm also trying to just prepare for this even worse shit that's coming. I feel like
that's definitely the impression that I've gotten from you two, is that he's not. He's obviously very intelligent, but he's not necessarily like he's not evil. He's just trying to protect his people.
Yeah,
like in a sense from
like the whole great.
another threat.
It's the
Down
great.
the line.
It's the
Like
greater.
an
It is.
empire is just a needs to his end, essentially. Like
Yeah.
it's just a necessary tool for him to get what he wants.
That's exactly what it is.
For his people.
He's like a very for the greater good type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Or individual. So yeah, it was very interesting. One thing I think I skipped over too was when they first arrived on that planet, Balin, Morgan, and Shin, that's the girl's name, I forgot. Shin.
Oh, Shinhati, yep.
Yeah. When Balin looks up in the sky, and this is why I wish Bull was here. I think those were Purgle that are in the sky. Because one of them you could make out and it looked like a whale.
Yeah.
And well, at least to me. So I'm pretty sure it's Purgle.
I'd say it's Purgle or Purgle, I don't know.
Purgle. Yeah, Purgle. Yeah, it's Purgle. It's Purgle. So I was pretty certain those were Purgle. So then
yeah, I saw some people potentially like pointing that on Twitter, like the GIF, or I shared a GIF of it. And it definitely, I agree. It looks like there was like a whale or Purgle like moving. Like it's so subtle too. Like if you're not looking for it,
like
you
a lot
you
of
will not see it. So kudos to the people that have seen it and like caught it. Like
well, and it made
it's very
noise
subtle
too. It made noise too. Like they had a sound effect in there for it.
Oh, did they? I didn't catch it.
Oh yeah, it's quick. Because he just kind of like looks up and he's kind of like, what the hell is that thing? Kind of like type look to him. So I'm pretty sure that's what they were. It might because to be honest,
on replay, I would say yeah, definitely. That's what it seemed like they were for sure.
Because to be honest, that actually they could come into play maybe in this next episode, but because so Ahsoka and Hera go to Corellia because they basically figure out that that's where Elsbeth was kind of having some like, oh, that's where she had like a ship depot or something there or something, or like that's where like when the Empire was in charge, that's like where she had like a shipyard and stuff. And I think it was like
I remember something coming from Corellia. Like
it's
I remember Corellia being called out. Like this came from Corellia.
Yeah, they were like talking about Corellia, so they go to Corellia because they know that there's like connections with Elsbeth from Corellia, and it had to be back to the Empire days. And that's where they talk with the guy, and the guy's like, "Well, I'll take you," and it essentially boils down to they question like the guy says, "Well, yeah, this is Corellia, yeah, like." He kind of sells it as like we don't really care who's in charge, Empire or New Republic, just as long as our economy just keeps going. Is kind of
yeah, my boy from House. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's from House. Okay, so that's kind of how like he sold it. But then the one droid just kind of ends up ratting him out, and the droid's like, "Oh yeah, I saw this other droid,
the HK droid, the assassin droids, right?"
Yeah,
because she was asking about, or I don't remember if she asked about it or not. She asked about it, right? And then all of a sudden the droid confessed that, yeah, I've seen one of these.
Yeah, the droid confessed, and she's like, "Yeah, I've seen an HK assassin droid around here." And they're like, "What?" And she just says it was carrying a high level of security clearance. So, and then that's when like the whole room.
And it's on that escape pod right there, right?
Yeah. She's like, "It's taking off with that right there." Yeah, and they're like, "What the hell?" And that's when the whole room turns into a "For the Empire" and shit like. Yeah, and so Ahsoka goes chasing after it, And then the Huyang, essentially like I mean, he's basically an inquisitor. Like he kind of gets in Ahsoka's way and starts fighting her to stop her. So then Hera has to.
Yeah, this is the main thing I was wanting to talk to you about, big dog. Merrick?
Or Merrick, that's, yeah. Sorry, I called him something else. So Merrick, that's right.
Well, you just called him the Inquisitor.
Well, yeah. But yeah, Merrick.
Which he basically looks like.
I mean, to me, he's just, yeah, he's an Inquisitor. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Has their same lightsaber, like the dual-ended, piece, and
Which the duel was great.
the duel was awesome.
Overall, I haven't really said much. I'm kind of mixed on these first 2 episodes so far. I hope you understand. It's probably just because I'm a casual, even though I know a lot of the main story beats from you and Bull telling me the stuff. But I really like. I know what's sad is I know that a lot of this show has been filmed on the volume because of interviews. But
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what they've done with.
that's what they've always done. That's what they've been doing. But God fucking damn it. This show, other than Andor, because I know that actually had some sets built, but this show for me did not feel like it was a volume show. So when I actually saw the interviews about or it seemed like they were using the volume a lot. I don't know, maybe they actually don't in the grand schemes, but in the very brief interview I saw where they were talking about using them the way they did, I was like, motherfucker. I was like, Filoni actually is using the volume good where it doesn't feel like it to me in a lot of ways, because most of not even just Star Wars, just the Disney Plus shows, as I've reiterated a lot of times, the volume is just apparent to me all the time. But for me, the show and Andor, but it's so surprising to me, this one actually apparently has used the volume quite a bit, and it looks great. Like the look of the show, I like the dark aesthetic to it a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But it just feels more. It feels a lot more grounded and real than a lot of. As much as I love Mandalorian, there's so many set pieces in the volume where I'm just like, this just doesn't feel real. But fuck it, I like these characters. But this show, I really like. I really like the set pieces that they've used, even if it's in the fucking volume. Fuck it, God.
I think it works because the sets or the pieces that they use, the surroundings, it's not just a bunch of empty sci-fi looking space. It's you got these ships and there's people and things going on around you. It's natural to a feel of a set. So whereas an Ant-Man, it's yeah, okay, like you said, I can tell
Okay.
it's that's not really there. There's nothing beyond that. There's no real horizon shot or any type of horizon, so it looks faker than shit. And yeah. No, I love the duel though, and yeah, I don't really notice that the volume is being used. Because again, it just looks so good. Uh
So we have the duel, which was
the
a good
duel.
duel. Really liked the duel.
Most importantly,
Oh, so you did catch it.
catch what? What are you talking about? Go ahead. Is this in relation to the duel?
Somewhat, yes. Credits. The credits is all I will say.
Yeah. The credits. Like the credits that were used to pay the.
No. I'm saying the credits, like the actual like film credits at the end of the episode.
Oh yeah, we're not there yet because real quick, Hera flying the ship to stop them from taking off with the hyperdrive engine, basically. Like basically the hyperdrive piece for the giant ship that Elsbeth and all them want to take to that galaxy. Yes. He finally shows his face. Our favorite little bastard astro droid, Chopper. And oh my God. And just the smart ass conversation Hera was having with him. It's just like, oh my God, felt just like Rebels all over again. I was so happy. So happy. When he showed up and he's like, and she's like arguing with him, I was like, this is fantastic. This is exactly how this is supposed to be. Oh, dude. And then he's like digging through all that stuff and he just shit whips that tracker. Like, just ding. I was like, yes. Again, more visible happiness from like someone who watched all of Rebels. Ugh, just so good. So good.
Somebody who didn't watch Rebels, big fan of Chopper already.
Oh, yes, dude.
Big fan already. Like,
yes. He's great.
So I can understand the hype behind Chopper. So I agree. I actually forgot about that part, but yeah, I actually thought it was also really cool. Even that scene where before they go into hyperdrive, even just like the spin over and like, hey, that's a droid calculation right there. Even like while they're twirling, he's got that perfect.
Yes.
Stick, bang.
It was great.
Good droid right there.
Yeah, droid. Oh yeah. So then Hera, of course, tells Ahsoka, I got a tracker on it. They return to Lothal. Sabine is ready. She chops her hair off, gets her Mandalorian armor back on.
We love Mandalorians on this channel.
Well, I'm loving this because, I mean, I'll get to it in a minute, but because I want to kind of wrap it up because we're getting close to 4 hours. So, and it's 10:06 and I need to be getting to bed. But anyways, so basically Ahsoka after the fighting and the duel, and then Hera's like, I got a tracker on that ship. We know exactly where they're going. Ahsoka does decide that she will take Sabine underneath her wing once more as a Padawan for Sabine to come along. Chopped her hair off. She's ready. I loved it too because like when she walks out of her home as she is ready, like the scene where she like goes up to the mural and like touches the mural and then she turns around, that's straight from the very end of the Rebels show. They legitimately just recreated the same shots in live action. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. This show really does, like everyone said, this will probably feel like Rebels season 5 and Filoni actually getting to finish that show, and it really kind of does. And so I gotta say, like, audiences that maybe not like it so much because again you're a casual and you only want to watch the live action shit, I will say, you, unless like you've talked to people like me and Bull, you probably are going to be kind of lost on like, wait, why do so many people like this so much, and like who are all these characters? Yeah, because you have no clue, like, and you don't understand like what it means to see them in the flesh and blood live action. is all I'm really going to say. I mean, I'm not saying you won't enjoy it. Hopefully you still do. I would love for everyone still to. But it doesn't, there's no way. I mean, it absolutely does not feel the same unless you went and watched Rebels and you enjoyed Rebels.
I can understand that, and I will say I can understand why you feel that way, because anything that's been animated that you see that gets adapted to live action, you get that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's superheroes, whatever. I don't know. I'm very, like I said, I'm very mixed on the first two episodes. There's definitely some positives. I'm not negative on the show per se, but I do definitely have maybe some, and even just even just from the little bit that I've known and gotten from you guys, it felt like this, like you said, you got the ending to Rebels all over again. So in a weird way, it felt like an hour and 43, hour and 47, whatever it was, minutes to basically just get right back to the ending of Rebels again. So it almost felt super self-indulgent in a way.
Yeah.
In my weird opinion, which I love Filoni. I'm not trying to shit on Filoni all, because anything that's I've seen from him in Star Wars, I generally really love. I don't know, just from, like I said, haven't seen the series. I'm just going off knowledge that I've gotten from you and Bull. It just felt really, really weird with the way that Rebels ended, and then all of a sudden it just seemed like there's this weird divide out of nowhere between her and Sabine, and Ahsoka and Sabine. I don't know. Hopefully this show fills in some of them gaps, hopefully. And I would assume it would, hopefully. But it just kind of, in a weird way, after, I don't know, just out of all the podcasts we've done together, and you and Bull explaining to me the timeline of Clone Wars and Rebels, in a weird way, watching these first two episodes felt really boring, because it felt like a really weird recap, but at the same time, not a recap.
Yeah.
Because it felt like we were just trying to get to recreating this ending of Rebels in live action. But at the same time, it felt very hollow, empty, and self-indulgent at the same time by the time we got there. Because for me, as somebody who had the knowledge of the big beats of the show, not saying I know all the intricacies, and I know I understand why you've gotten a lot out of it, because you've seen all of the episodes out of both of those series. So but I don't know. I'm still intrigued. In a weird, I don't know, I also don't know how I feel about Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka in a weird way. I feel like from the little clips that I've seen in the show, it just feels like Ahsoka had a lot of personality, and I feel like in this show she just doesn't. I just feel like it's in another weird Disney trope that is we left you with this character off in this shape, and now we're going to reintroduce that character to you in the complete opposite of what we last left them in, or what you last saw them in.
So Ahsoka,
which I can understand a little bit. Sorry, not to cut you off. I can understand a little bit of Ahsoka, because I know she's kind of burnt from Anakin. She left the Jedi Order. Is a little unsure of that. It just doesn't feel like they've kind of dived into that enough for me to get that impression of why she is the way she is. And sorry.
And you would have to watch Clone Wars and Rebels to really understand why she is the way that she is. When she was first created, she was notoriously hated by fans. She was an annoying, bratty child and Filoni has even said in interviews he made her that way on purpose. because she is actually really the focal character, or she's supposed to be, of Clone Wars, of the one that you watch that goes through all of this character progression. So over time in Clone Wars, yes, she has a very bright and optimistic personality, and she's young, and she sees she doesn't always see things for what they truly are, and you know, she loves that she's learning from Anakin, but then she goes through a dilemma with the Jedi Order where she gets framed, and the Council was just very quick to like place blame on her and kind of like not really give her benefit of the doubt. And when it does all get resolved and they figure out that she was framed by, oh shit, I can't remember that Jedi's name. Anyways,
you are right. I do remember you guys telling me she got
what
framed in the
she gets
Jedi
framed. I don't need to
Yeah,
sit here
and
and
she left
stall
it
on that.
or
I don't
got
need to
banned
sit.
or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't need to sit here and stall on that character's name. She gets framed. They figure out it's this other Jedi. So then the Council's like, "Yeah, we were wrong. You can come back then. Take the trial to be a knight." She basically tells Anakin, "You know what? There's the way the Jedi Council behaves and the way that they do things, I don't agree with. I don't think it's true to like what the ideals of being a Jedi should be." And so she basically like she turns her back on that and she walks away. Anakin says as she's walking away, even says to her like, "I know how you feel because I have felt the same way at times as well." And she tells him like, "I know you have, but this is goodbye." And then she disappears for, that's the end of season 5. And that's actually how Clone Wars first ended. Then it came back with the season 6, and they did a season 6. And then just what, 4 or 5 years ago, whatever, that's when they finally made season 7. And then by season 7, this is when Ahsoka has kind of turned into this kind of scorned individual, like a way more serious toned personality. And granted, the timing of this is weird because they made Clone Wars season 7 after they made Star Wars Rebels. So she was already back and around in Star Wars properties in Rebels as an adult, like non-Jedi, but kind of is, whatever. And so that's like when she kind of like started this whole,
we got 2 gray Jedi in this series,
right.
but
So
nobody wants to hear that because gray Jedi aren't a thing and everybody hates it.
yeah. So the whole her more serious tone and the way she carries the character is kind of actually accurate and true to how Filoni like developed her. So that's I mean, that's the thing. It's like I kind of personally like the job that Rosario Dawson is doing, because I feel like it's kind of true with the way the character has actually grown throughout, from from the start of Clone Wars through the end of it, and then like even in Rebels. In Rebels, she's not like a overly optimistic adult. She's kind of like a wiser Force user that still kind of that definitely still taps into it, knows how to use it, and she knows how to fight and everything, but she's still like a very serious toned, like gray Jedi, if you will. even at one point in Rebels, she like, I think like there's a temple that's collapsing and she turns back and looks, and then like she can see like Master Yoda as he's projecting himself through the Force, like he like kind of nods to her and she nods to him, and that's kind of it. And like essentially knowing that like she knows that he's alive at that point out there somewhere and whatnot. But um no, so yeah, so I don't really, again, I don't get that from Rosaria Dawson. I gotta be honest, I don't know how much of a fan I am of the actress that plays Sabine. And
Really?
yeah, but I'm not saying she's not playing the character well. I think she is playing the character kind of about what I would expect. I don't know. It's just something about it feels a little weird to me, but it's I don't know. I don't hate it. But yeah.
Is it the force sensitivity thing, or just the act? Like just the act? Like you're talking purely
No, so
acting?
no, yeah, I think it's kind of like the way they have her playing the character in live action and the acting with it. It just doesn't, I don't know. It, because to me, I thought Sabine was always kind of a, like, yeah, she's a rebellious type, but she still had like a maturity to her. If that sounds,
Oh, okay.
you
Okay. Yeah.
know, I didn't really, I don't know. So I don't know how much this live action I'm really getting from that, but I don't know. I guess it is kind of there though. I mean, again, maybe that was the whole point again to this we're catching up to this moment where, yeah, in the cartoon of Rebels, they did a time jump as Ezra's narrating the epilogue. It does this time jump essentially to the point where we get at in the live action where they've recreated the shot. Like, I guess that does make sense then that, yeah, she probably was just acting immature because maybe she was like the whole like she's not ready to be my Padawan thing. It's like that whole mantra of like she just wasn't a mature individual maybe. So maybe like that will be different now going forward. She'll maybe be back to the same ways that she was. So that's my hope at least, but I don't know. All for all, I gotta agree with like what critics are kind of giving this, and like so far, I mean, I made my jokes earlier about the stab through and some other things and choices of this show, but I'm still gonna sit here and right now like I think these two together is how I kind of want to rate it. I want to just say like a 9 as a out of 10 so far for me. Um, yeah, I think if I really had to like kind of separate them, maybe do like I like to go by halves, so maybe like I don't know. Eh, I don't know, man. It's like,
I'll say I was just gonna rate them just combined because it was kind of a premiere of both
yeah,
of
I
them
don't
together.
really.
So
I mean, yeah, I watched them all together. I watched it all together. I treated it like a movie. I mean, I just kind of want to just call them both, just rate them together and call it a 9 so far and be done with it.
all right, we're gonna hate me, but I'm gonna sit around like oh boy, we'll go 7-1.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good. I'm intrigued to see more. I get it. I'm not. Once again, haven't watched. Well, seen a lot of Clone Wars sporadically. Whatever. Haven't seen any of Rebels. Um, and I understand this is basically season 5 of Rebels, so I'm not lost on that.
Yeah,
Um,
and
so
I
don't
acknowledge that.
necessarily. If you're somebody coming in as the Rebels fan, I would definitely listen to KP more than me. Um, as far as like ratings go.
Yeah,
But I'm definitely intrigued to see more. Um, Granted, I do have the knowledge of like what's loosely happened in Rebels and Clone Wars from you and Bull,
Yeah.
thankfully. So honestly, which I'm kind of a little scared about, because if I didn't have that knowledge, I'm a little afraid of how I would feel actually about the show in general. It could be better, it could be worse. I don't know, because I'm not in that boat, but
Well, you
it
might
would
not
be
have
really
had that.
intriguing to hear somebody's thought that has like genuinely like no knowledge at all of like any
Yeah.
Clone Wars or any Rebels, which I can't give to you guys because I know spoilers. But I do enjoy the show overall. I like how it's shot. Love the music. Um, I'm looking forward to more, and thank God we don't have to wait till Wednesday at midnight. We can watch it like Tuesday at 6, right? I think they basically made it prime time for us, at least Central. It's like
So
6,
happy with
7.
that decision.
So good. So I am very much looking forward to it. I have high hopes for this show. It's Filoni. Not that he's directing every episode, but you know, he's the showrunner essentially. So
Yeah, because he didn't direct the second episode. He didn't direct it.
just he's was it 2 or 3 episodes total for the series? I think he directed. I feel like it's like first, sixth, and like one of the later episodes maybe or something like that.
Well, isn't there only 6 episodes?
Is there only 6?
I mean, typical Disney fashion. Oh, there's 8. Never mind. There's 8. So never mind. Ignore me.
So I don't know. Maybe it's 2 or 3. I think that he does, but I'm still very much looking forward to it. Like how it's shot, like the action. So despite whatever issues I had, it's gonna be better than Kenobi, right?
Hater.
And on that, we should.
I mean, I will say this is again, since this is going to be season 5 of Rebels, probably most likely. I mean, yeah, it'll probably end up being better than Kenobi.
Let's go, baby. So we will go out on that. Of course, we will get the Bull's opinion next week on episode 1 through 3 total, but we'll let him speak his piece on the first 2 episodes as well, since he wasn't here. But we appreciate you guys so much for either listening or watching. Of course, if you do want an audio version, we are on Spotify or Podbean, and obviously, if you want to see our beautiful, beautiful faces, we are on YouTube as well. And of course, we are on Twitter, or AKA X gonna give it to you at official T3P. What did you guys think of these episodes that we have talked about today? What did you think of Ahsoka, My Adventures with Superman, as we are coming on that beautiful finale? This chef's kiss to that show. And of course, what are you thinking of Harley Quinn? Are you as mixed as we are? Or are you hyped? You lower than we are? We'd love to hear you guys in the comments. But until next time, I'm your boy J Sib, and of course, as always,
KP.
My boy KP. Until next time, we shall see you. Shock 'em, bro. We'll see you later.
Zipline.
Zipline.
To the window, to the wall. No.